Welcome back to The Watch. Now, it might look like I'm running solo, but no. All right. This is a special stream today. In case you don't know, Wheel of Time, the TV show adaptation, has been cancelled. And that is of particular interest to me because I'm a massive Wheel of Time fan, as you can see the entire series right there. And here at Night's Watch, we have covered the Wheel of Time quite extensively in season 1 and season 2, reviewing every single episode. But it was so bad that it basically broke me and I had to dip out. I was done. I could not go through any more of that for the unbelievable travesty of that TV show adaptation and how much of a dumpster fire it really was. But after season 3, it has now been cancelled, or at the very least not renewed for more seasons, which is cancellation. And I want to talk about it. I want to talk about everything about this. And as a result, we do have a special guest joining us, a man who he has gone through it all. Like even the sludge of season 3, and he's going to help inform us just how bad things really got. And also he's been part of the journey throughout everything. He is the Prophet of the Dragon, sir. How are you, mate?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, an honor too. But yes, the sludge. I have been through the sludge. That is I think that's probably a nice way to put it about Wheel of Time. But yeah, no, I have never blamed anybody once for ducking out wherever they've ducked out because it's a trial.
Dude, that the end of season 2 was just I have trouble putting it into words. How just like it was bad on a writing level, but compared to what it was supposed to be in the books, it just takes it to another level. I couldn't believe like where Rand goes and saves the girls, right? There's like, gee, a man saving a woman, that's so problematic. No. We're gonna have not only one woman save the savior of this world, the prophet. We're not gonna have one. We're gonna have not 2 women. We're gonna have 3 women save him in consecutive moments, making him look like the weakest, pathetic, wet rag. All right, giving the win all to the women, but it's purely for ideological feminism. That's the whole reason why they decided to do that, right?
Yeah, well,
which completely subverts so much. Wheel of Time has such a, like the book series has such a strong masculine aspect to it, while also balancing the actual strong female characters really well. And it was genuinely, truly one of the better kind of book series where it has both men and women having really important roles, where the TV show decides to come in and say, we're going to make all the men pathetic, weak cowards. We will sexually objectify them because, revenge. And we'll make all the good-looking women in the books old middle-aged women, and no male gaze for you toxic men, but all the female gaze will do that. And that's all they're there for. All the men are there basically just to be dumped on and shown up by the women, and for eye candy because we're going to strip him at every time possible. That's encapsulates the series.
Well, part of it, it's one of those things because like Wheel of Time, when it was first out, when they first announced it, it was one of those like, okay, well maybe they'll get this right because the women are already strong. It's already a matriarchy. Now I know there's people that want to fight that it's not a matriarchy, but most of the heads of state of the strong nations are female queens. Mm-hmm. But it's fine. It doesn't matter. So you have the most powerful, the Aes Sedai organization, the most powerful organization is all women. Yep. And so you have the strong women baked into your story already. So maybe we won't no, of course we overdo it. Of course. Yeah. To the point where season 2, I'm sure there's one point we love joking at because they put the iconic line, where Lan talks to Rand about facing everything. Being a man is facing it on your feet. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as after they have that discussion, Rand spends the rest of the show on his knees. You can't make it up.
I know.
You can't make it up.
You can't tell me that stuff is an accident. No, like they put a lot of thought into this, as much as they muster as much intelligence as they possibly can. And look, I like to dunk on them and stuff, but I actually do think there has been intelligence put into this, malicious planning to subvert and turn this great story into just pure propaganda, just their identity to the extreme. And holy crap, it's unbelievable. But of course, always fashionably late, we are joined by Lit Dev. How are you there, mate?
Hello.
So,
Yeah.
we have the Prophet of the Dragon here, a bit of an expert on Wheel of Time, because that's going to be probably the main discussion of this live stream.
Fantastic.
You end up watching any of the Wheel of Time TV show?
Well, I heard you talk about it, and I was like, okay, well then I'm not going to watch it then.
Good choice.
Wise choice. Wise decision.
I heard it was horrendously woke, and I was like, okay, I was already watching Rings of Power at the time, and I could only handle one at a time, like one tremendously woke show.
Yeah, they fight for that title. I think they're both like one of the things we did on my channel was which is worse, Rings of Power or Wheel of Time, and it's always a very heated discussion because they're both so bad. That it's hard to you have the Galadriel fight, training fight versus Rand's non-fight with Turok, right? There's all kinds of things that you can match up. It's like, what's worse, right?
Stab, twist, gut, or something like that.
Oh god,
that's not how you fight. That's not how you teach someone to fight. I was like, okay, I'm gonna teach you how to kill them. Step one, kill them.
Fight with your legs, not with your arms. And I'm like, what?
I have
White
arms.
Cloaks. See you there, mate. Gifted 5 Nights Watch memberships. Appreciate you, White Cloaks. Is that what got you started doing YouTube, Sir Prophet? Now, by the way, what do you want us to call you? You had a Prophet
Steve,
or
Steve?
Steve?
Steve. Yeah,
Awesome.
Steve.
So, Steve, is this what got you started doing your live streams and things, the Wheel of Time, or were you doing a bit before this?
No, I started because of Wheel of Time, mostly not because there was a mix between I had a lot to say about Star Wars when when Last Jedi, all the Last Jedi stuff happened. That and also Game of Thrones. I found myself saying and thinking a lot of the same things that all of yourself, Mahler, all of you guys were saying. I found myself going, I'm thinking those exact same things. You know what? And Wheel of Time's coming out. I know a little bit more about that. I know stuff about the other stuff too, but I know a little bit more about that. And maybe that's a niche I can scoop myself into. Still hoping, if you look at my early videos, which aren't very good, but you see there's hope, right? There's still that hope that, I'm making this channel so I can hope that, we're talking about how great it is. Of course, that's not what happened. So yeah, but that's basically where the channel started, because I missed my opportunity to talk about some of those things because they came and went, and it's like, well, I'm gonna make it just in case it happens with Wheel of Time, and here we are. It happened, and
oh my gosh, like it's funny. Sorry,
what happened was that I'm glad you said that, because the big narrative that's prevailing is that we're all brainwashers and that we are all lying, and that these things are actually really, really good, and that we just told everyone that they're terrible, and made up some garbage stuff, and then we just kind of just cast a magical spell, and now everyone thinks all these things are terrible, and that without us, everyone will just love everything.
Well, to interject real quick, they made this petition to try and save it before it was even renewed, right? So there was this petition that they only got 150,000 signatures on. It's pathetic considering the millions and millions of people that love the Wheel of Time. I'm on a stream. I jokingly is like, you know what? I'm going to make the anti-renewal. I want to make the cancel Wheel of Time petition. Just as a joke, I put zero effort into it, and we got like 500, signatures, nothing, right? But as soon as it got canceled, I started getting hate because my petition.
You won. You got it. You did it.
We did it. Yes.
Team hate wins again. Hate. Yeah, that's us. That's us. Team hate.
It's all your fault.
Another win for Team Hate. Yeah.
Yes, I'll take it. If it's my fault, I'll take that. I'll wear that as a badge.
They're blaming you. Don't wear that as a freaking badge.
I will take that as a badge of honor.
Canceling the cancelers right there.
It's just, but that just to your point. It's exactly that. Anyone, it's like it's that guy's fault. It's like, they're not listening to me for any other season. I've been calling them to cancel it since freaking episode 3. Yeah, right. I mean, it's like, come on. So
we got a lot of power.
Well, more than I knew. I had no idea, but I guess.
Well, the glazing for this show honestly has just like truly shocked and surprised me. And it wasn't just glazing, it was like coordinated protection. Right from the beginning, they wanted to control their narrative right out of the gate, all the way from season 1, where they invited some of the biggest Wheel of Time YouTubers to their, like promotional tour, get them on the red carpet to try and generate as much positive buzz about this thing as they could. And honestly, I think that did cause a lot of the bigger Wheel of Time people to be willing to offer more charity to the show. Some of them kind of did wake up and say, "Oh, this show's actually really bad," but the glazing and protection from the get-go was, I couldn't believe it.
Well, didn't they make them sign an NDA? I think didn't Daniel Green come out later for season 1 and say that they made him sign an NDA for season 1 of things he couldn't say after they flew him out there. So that's something I've been told. I'd have to go back and look because Daniel Green is, one of the biggest fantasy guys out there. His opinions after about a year of season 1 changed quite a bit, and he was
much more negative on it on season 2.
So I was told that it was because he had in one of his he had come out and said they were given a list of things they couldn't say to be able to attend the London thing. I'd have to confirm that, obviously don't want to do, no fake news or not, but, but look, the biggest telling thing about how opinions have changed is, I don't know if you saw Sanderson, Daniel Green and them watch episode 8 live stream. That gives you all you need to know. That live stream is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. 3 people trying to be positive about something they're watching and they can't.
Terrible, and they're looking for any good thing that they can latch on. I like that part.
Exactly.
I love Sanderson. Right?
Yes,
and he is such a positive guy where he always wants to just look for the good in things, and he's openly admitted that is his approach, where he wants to build positivity. And the thing is, though, he's a very talented writer. And you guaranteed, and I know he knows because it's also come out and said, like he can see bad writing when it's bad writing. And I remember when I was interviewing Brandon, and because I knew this about him, I asked him on the live stream what he thought about The Last Jedi, and his response was like, "Oh, you're gonna get me in trouble."
Yeah,
I knew you can't tell me a talented writer would love that piece of crap, right?
Yep.
And same with Wheel of Time. And it's so bad that even Brandon, he tries to be so positive, he couldn't help himself but point out there were issues. And you could find did you ever see Brandon's transcript of his feedback for the scripts of season 1? Where he had commentary on the actual script and some of the lines that he was sharing.
I know that I had heard that you could tell he was frustrated because he gave a lot of feedback and he was just outright ignored.
Again, it was shocking. Like one of the most talented writers in the world, the people on Wheel of Time, Rafe Judkins and everyone, had the hubris to ignore his advice. He finished off the series, right? Yeah. Is the closest thing you could have to the author that anyone who'd worked on it. And they said, we can ignore him and make up our own crap because we have a story we want to tell. We want to tell a story about a gay a warder who doesn't want to be gay and going to commit suicide. And
step in. Yeah, well, that was the whole made up story. Yeah, it's crazy, right? And that's a good point. It's one of those, and Sanderson basically noped out. It's like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure I think season 2 he gets an executive producer credit. But you could tell he's just like, just from listening to him, it's like, I send them notes, they send me sometimes. Nobody pays attention to each other, right? It's like, I don't know how you do that.
He really tried. He really tried to help me out with season 1, and even with a full review and feedback on the script. And his notes on those scripts are all the evidence you need that he knows that it's dog crap. Where he literally was saying about the Emmons Field characters, they're all coming off like assholes, and you don't want characters that are assholes. And he was telling them, he was warning them, you don't want Perrin to be married and killing his wife. That would kind of ruin his character.
That was the big one, right? That was the big one that he's like,
he's spoken openly about that. on.
Kind of want to have to
Very
do.
open.
You kind of do what Oda did with Netflix, where he was breathing down their necks the entire time. You can't just send them notes because they'll ignore the notes and just ruin it however they want to. And then so Oda was so on point with the live action One Piece series that the Netflix people complained and got angry at him because he wasn't allowing them to ruin it the way they wanted to ruin it. Like, no, well, you know what, Mr. Oda, I wasn't satisfied with that scene, so I don't like. So obviously Oda was there saying, no, I'm not satisfied with the scene. Redo it, remake it, restructure it, and they got really mad that he was questioning everything, and they couldn't do anything because he wasn't Henry Cavill. He wasn't nearly just like an actor. He was the creator. They couldn't say if he was hovering around them, they can't say go away.
Well, they tried to. They tried to do that with they did that with the writer for The Witcher, where he was like, they just ignored me completely. And I find
you got to be an asshole. You got to be like, you got to get in there and go, no, I'm not leaving. This is my thing. Yeah, you got to be in there.
Force the issue, and because you'd think that the creator or writers of the work might have some bit of an insight as to what's important in the story.
No, the reality is they don't really see writers, the original writer, as they don't look highly upon them. They think that you're a lowly peasant and that you will be satisfied with the mere idea that you get to stand there in the room or to shake hands with the stars or whatever of the show. That's it. That's your payment. That's all you get to do. That should be good enough for you. You don't get to actually input anything or have any say. It's like you should be happy enough just to get this thing done, just to have your thing go to TV show or something.
And so right out of the gate with Wheel of Time, there were massive, and I mean massive problems. And there were comments like Rafe Judkins was asked about, would he be putting like his ideology or feminism into it? And he says, absolutely, I'll be injecting, my own kind of
all my poisons into this.
Well, the famous quote of if you keep complaining, I'll keep making characters gay if you guys keep complaining about how you don't like them.
Yep, we got that one right here. Let me just present that. Now, this was a comment that he made leading up or during or leading up to Wheel of Time Season 1. Now, there's a bit of background to this, but it's unforgivable, this kind of position and outlook. And this show, it tells you everything you should need to know about the creative approach to Wheel of Time. And so people were upset with some of the things that Rafe was doing to the show, the characters, and everything. And he claimed he got death threats. Now, I mean, he never revealed the receipts, and this always makes me suspect because there's a lot of kind of death threats thrown around on the internet that are done for obvious trolling and just as like, go kill yourself, you idiot, kind of stuff like that, right? Where it's obviously not someone saying, I'm going to hunt you down, I know where you live, and I'm going to literally do X, Y, Z or anything. A lot of it.
This is a Operation 101, how they act. Like, okay, I'm getting backlash. I'm getting death threats. That's all. They always go to that, like almost immediately. Like it's like in case of backlash, break glass, death threats, that's claim, and they never have any.
They never. Well, there a few times they have bothered to try and reveal the receipts, like a horrible XYZ, and in the case with this was in response to the backlash that the black actress received for playing Reva in Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. And they claimed it was horrible racism and everything like that. And then they revealed what they showed, like only 2 or 3 messages. So it wasn't like this wave of unbearable hate. And one of them was like accusing her of being a DEI hire.
Well, it was on Twitter,
spoiler,
too.
It's pretty true, I thought.
She kind of was. Like, they purposely...
Was that true? Were they proud of that?
They were. I thought they were just Twitter. Like it wasn't even DMs or anything. It was just. Were they DMs? I thought they were just Twitter. Like whatever. I mean, there's like it was nothing to them. It's like, what are you talking about?
It's like 2 random Twitter accounts on someone's burner accounts. That's about it.
I have copped like 100 times worse crap than anything that they produce in terms of actual receipts of these horrible messages that are either racist, homophobic threats or anything like that. I've had people send me things with just like text bold saying go kill yourself and stuff like that. And it's just people, saying they really don't like a take you have or something like that.
The thing is, all you gotta do is not kill yourself.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah, and then you win, right?
And you win.
Checkmate. Take that. I haven't done it.
special technique right there. It's hard
Another
for
win
them
for
to
Team
grasp.
Hate. Team
Yes,
Hate
Team
again.
Hate.
And so he doesn't produce the receipts. And so often people in Hollywood love to play the massive victim saying, I'm under this incredible unending tide of abuse, because that gets them sympathy, right? And then it justifies them in acting like unbelievable jerks in response. So he doesn't reproduce that, but this was what he responded to the people sending him supposed death threats, even though they were very likely probably just trolls or anything like that. He decides that justifies him to further bastardize another man's work. He says, you're all very kind. I've dealt with them before, and there's truly only one way to respond. Turn their favorite characters gay. 'Cause I can. Not because it's better for the story, not because, it's like, this is just purely done out of spite. That's the level we're at with this guy. This gentleman reaps what he sows. Perrin and Lan now gay for each other. Next homophobic death threat, Egwene and Days Conga gay. And you could tell that they were planning more of that stuff. Like those, like Steve, you saw those long stares between Rand and Perrin.
Oh yeah, we thought for a minute that Perrin was actually, there was a thing there for a minute where we thought Perrin was jealous of Rand being with Egwene. Then it changed about the end of the season. Go, wait a second, is Perrin mad at Egwene for having Rand, and Perrin wants Rand? Is Perrin gay for Rand? And by the way, that comment that he made shows that he doesn't know the Wheel of Time fandom at all. Nobody's favorite character is Egwene. So what's he talking about?
I've recently finished another read through of the entire Wheel of Time series and finished it off, and holy crap, Egwene for some reason didn't bother me as much on my first read through, right? It's like, she's a character. I enjoyed her arc enough, but on the second read through, I could not stand her. She's one of the most entitled, stuck up, conceited cows that I was sick of her and happy that she died at the end.
It's like mid series when she starts going, she just turns from being like when she turns on Rand, it's like, you bitch. It's
but she becomes so conceited and so like always, you stupid idiot, you need to do what I say, and I'm always right.
Drinks the Aes Sedai Kool-Aid 100%.
Completely. Maybe that's what Robert Jordan was wanting with it.
Maybe.
But I get what you're saying, and everyone's saying about Egwene after my second read through. And so they went into this intentionally to use another man's work as a vehicle for all the woke ideology diversity, and it was already perfectly balanced with its representation of women and men and everything like that. But the thing is, though, it still was inherently a masculine story. It's more men enjoy Wheel of Time than women because it portrays such great positive masculinity in it. Like, there are so many moments when that the roles of men needing to protect and defend women and being the strong, and I like that. That's the role. Like it's interesting where yes, they show Aes Sedai being so powerful, but the book also shows them being incredibly vulnerable, and that's why they need warders who don't. They're very strong, talented men. They get a couple of supernatural boosts, but not massive. They're not like going Dragon Ball Z by any means, right? And they are nowhere near as technically as powerful as the Aes Sedai, yet they are more competent in protecting Aes Sedai lives because they're men than women, right? And that is baked into the series where the gender roles are so strong in the book series, which is why it's so great that you could tell just the initial world building would offend ideological activists, especially feminists, to the extreme. And one of my favorite examples of this is the nature of the magic. And so in case people don't know, the magic in Wheel of Time works differently between men and women. In fact, there's two different halves of the magic, and only men can access one half and only women can access another half. And it is gender locked to the soul, so much so that when the Wheel of Time, I love it. It gets so mega based at times when in the Wheel of Time, for a person's soul to be put into the wrong gendered body that is only capable of being for it to happen by a literal perversion of nature through the devil doing it. Like that's the only justification where that can happen. And when that happens, the gendered nature of the magic is so strong that the male soul in a female's body literally still cannot touch the female half of the power. That's how it ingrained the nature of gender is in the Wheel of Time. It is literally encoded onto your soul, and your soul can never be put in the wrong gendered body unless it's a perversion of reality by the devil doing it, right? It's like it gets to that. And then the nature of the powers are really intriguing, where men, the way that men are able to control and command the Saidin and Saidar. Saidin is the male half. So Saidin, right? They have to fight it for control, wrestle with it, and if they even falter in a second while they're trying to wield this incredibly uncontrollable magic, it will destroy them. So men have to dominate this power, right?
Absolutely.
The women's half of the power, the way that they control their half of the power, and this is like actually quite deep, and you can tell why feminists would hate this so much. The women have to submit to the power. They have to open up like a bud of like a rose to the sun and surrender to it. And only by submitting and surrendering to it can they then control it. There is deep underpinning kind of philosophy to that about the roles of men and women, how men men need to go out into the world and fight it and dominate it and wrestle it and bring it under their dominion and control, where women are able to get great power through gentle guidance and empathy and nurturing. And so women's power throughout, just not history, like reality, right? Women are able to achieve incredibly great things in the world, usually by that notion of submitting and then guiding people through a gentle hand. And Wheel of Time, it's all there. But you think feminists, when they hear, what, you mean submit to anything? How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Well, the power, the powers are inherently different too. Men are they're stronger in certain attributes, and women. So a man's strength is stronger. They can do more physical violence with the power, whereas a woman is more agile and can do more agile. Are better healers. They can do more agile, complicated weaves than men can, right? And something the show didn't do is, of course, they didn't include both. It's just the one power. They never, did Saidin and Saidar because
let's jump on that, because this is right at the very beginning. Do they just bastardize the entire thing? Because they're activists. They can't stand anything that says men and women are inherently different and they have inherent strengths that are different to one another. They're complementary. Like, that is all offensive in the extreme. And so from the very beginning, the opening of season 1, they just ignored it all. In the entire Wheel of Time TV show adaptation, one of the most core aspects of the world building of the lore, because that's tied into one heart, the male half gets cursed by the Dark One, which causes any man who starts to use that magic to go insane. And the inherent prophecy of this world is that the one who is going to save the world is going to be the greatest male channeler in the world, and people are insanely, deathly afraid of that, because that means he's going to go insane and destroy the world. And the prophecy literally says that he will have to break the world to save it. And so the prophecy of salvation in this world is inherently tied with all these prophecy of the dragon destroying the world. They're insanely afraid of the coming of the dragon as a result, and it's wholly 100% built in and founded on the fact that the dragon is a man and the magic is divided into two halves and the male half is cursed. That is how the entire story is built on that. And in the TV show, they decide to take it out of the show.
And I do want to interject, because season 3, because Nick even mentioned it, they try to backtrack very little. But they don't let it. Okay, so it's one of those, and I've been one of the people that has been sort of, at some point, Moraine is having a discussion with Rand where she goes to mention Saidin, and then Rand interrupts her and goes, "It's the same thing. Don't worry about it. Like they're both the same. Just dominate it more because like Moraine is talking to Rand about controlling the power, and she's having trouble because she finds she basically finds a pearl, which they're calling they messed up the Chosen Call. They brought the Sarkinen in, which is like basically they made the Chosen Call the Sarkinen and Kalendor. So they screwed up Kalendor. Yep. They screwed up the Chosen Call. But basically, she finds this object of great, great power. And she's having trouble in the show using it because it's so much, it's overbearing. It's just overtaking her. And she's like, Sideen's not, she says, the powers aren't the same. Sideen goes, shut up, Moraine. Just wrestle it and be good and be stronger with it. And it's like, why the hell did you even mention Sideen for? So they sort of mention it, but they don't really mention it.
They don't want to mention it. That's why they're like, and the issue is the entire foundation of the story is literally like encoded on this dichotomy of the power in the books. And so they obviously wrote themselves into a corner because it's like, and it's unbelievable the amount that they stuff this up, right? Because as I laid the foundation of what the book is and why it's so important that the dragon is a man and the separate halves of the power, they ignore that there's two halves of the power and they just say men go insane because reasons. And they open up the series in season 1 that the dragon, the prophesied, bringer of salvation and destruction, could be a man or a woman. So why is he okay? If it's going to be a woman, what's the danger? What's the fear of the dragon?
Exactly. If the dragon's a woman, you win the lottery. No problem. No problem. You're good. Yes, the Chosen Ball. Yes, the Chosen Ball. Sorry, yes. No, it's like you're exactly right. It's like that's a driving force is. When the dragon is reborn, the world's screwed. Yes, they're all. That's why they're afraid of it. Yeah. And so to stuff up the setup of this grand tale to that extent, right from the beginning, like they were screwed from the beginning, and you could tell they did not care about this story. Okay, 100%. This story was not about Wheel of Time. It wasn't about trying to adapt a man's work, his life's work, a work he died bringing to us, right? Robert Jordan died before he finished it, and then he laid down all the work to finish it off, that so his wife could then find an author to finish it off, which was Brandon Sanderson, right? It wasn't about showing respect or anything like that to the fans or the story. It was merely a vehicle for their propaganda and a nonsense. That was right out of the gate. That's what they saw it as. Well, I don't know. Some we've thrown around. I really think they used Wheel of Time, and I think some of the false positives they gave themselves from the Wheel of Time affected what they've done to Rings of Power. I really do believe that like Wheel of Time was sort of like the testing ground for some of their vehicles, and by just ignoring the real feedback of what they were doing wrong and how their costumes looked goofy and the fights were bad and all the real feedback, they just ignored that and stayed in their echo chamber and took the good feedback for Wheel of Time. And they're like, okay, well, now we'll put that into Rings of Power. Well, not only that, they actively suppressed all the negative feedback. Like I said, there was a coordinated protection racket around this show to try and paint a false veneer of fan enjoyment, like overall acceptance and success, and it was all a smokescreen. It was an unbelievable lie, right? 100%. Especially like in season 1, there was, and I was like tepidly, okay, we'll see where it goes. But holy crap, when we got to season 5, it's like, I think like I lasted too long because episode 3 I was feeling really negative. Like what the hell did they do? Season 1, episode 3 is where I finally I was like, okay, I can't do it. It's tough. It's tough. I was coping. I was like, I genuinely wanted it to be good. All right. And so I was trying to hold on. Episode 4 was like, look, you're bastardizing the story. Nynaeve isn't like that or anything like that. But okay, there is something there. The story actually, you did something half competent, even though it's a bastardization story. Then we got to episode 5, and I was like, holy crap. This is where I had to admit reality and just acknowledge that
this is a complete disaster.
Well, it's amazing too, because we don't like this whole thing where we all want it to be good. We just aren't going to just nod and clap and be a shit eater, for lack of a better term. If it doesn't just because we want it to be good doesn't mean it is.
Yes.
Reality, I have eyes. I can see that you're busy gaslighting us all, telling us we can't tell you the whole story of the Wheel of Time, so there's going to be some changes. Okay, fine. Yeah, that tracks. There's a lot. Of course you're going to make some changes. Oh, fuck. Well, that was too agreeable. Well, we're going to have to change whole episodes and add people. It's the whole step-in arc in season 1. It's well, why you have time to do that, but you don't have time to.
That's one of the things that set me off the most.
Yeah.
Like they were saying, the book's too big, so we have to naturally cut things and condense it to get it all in. So you're not going to see everything that is in the book 1 in season 1. And I was like, well, yeah, that makes sense. And then we get to episode, was it 6, where they decide to inject their own friggin' story about the water and there's dead Aes Sedai, and it's a whole episode.
It was the one you noped out on. Yeah.
Where they just made up the entire thing, and it's you cut important, great story from the Wheel of Time book for your own vanity project. Piss off. And then the writing was just unbelievably retarded in that episode, where it's okay, we could see this is and you could tell the writers thought that episode was the best. They probably were just sniffing their own farts so much, and that's what they wanted. This was just a vehicle for them to inject their own rewriting to prove themselves that they're better writers, and they're not, but they thought they are. Right?
They could right the wrongs of the anime, as they say.
Well, I can see why that's the one you noped out on too, because you have first, it's based around a character that doesn't exist. Second, that's the one where Nynaeve does her healing bubble and heals everybody that's dead.
That's in episode 4. The healing bubble is episode 4.
Was that 4? Yeah. Oh wait, 4, 5 is the tower when he kills himself because he doesn't want to be in a Gable Order relationship.
Yes.
That's right.
And I think that's also the one where
Lance does the nipples. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. But I think it's also the one where Egwene literally teleports out of being tied in a chair because they couldn't have a man save her. Perrin,
I think it might have been that one too. It's
I
wild.
could not believe it. Perrin literally busts out of his ropes. He's confronting the bad guy. He's about to save Egwene, and then Egwene disappears behind the guy and stabs in the back. And
well, you're remembering it. It's even worse than that, because she uses a fireball thing to break him out.
Oh, that's right. She saves him.
She saves him, and then she saves herself. Somehow she gets out of the ropes magically. And then stabs.
You see her tied up, and then the next thing, she stabs the guy in the back, and she just teleports out of the chair.
I guess that's episode 6. Yeah, it's how did she get out of the this matters? What are you doing?
I could not believe it. And it's they're willing to break reality in their narrative just to avoid a man saving a woman. And I was like, look, the nails in the coffin. That's irrefutable proof that these are activists writing this, and they will destroy and bastardize anything to subvert it just to go in line with their ideology.
It continues the whole series, like you said, episode 8 of season 2. Egwene fights Ishmael. Well, Rand sits there on his knees.
I know. I get that. That's why the last episode of season 2 was when I literally was done, because they took everything bad that they did in season 1 and ramped it up to 11 in season 2. Whereas, not only can you not have a man save a woman, the man is going to be pathetic, weak, coward, useless, and is going to be saved in 3 consecutive moments by 3 different women.
Yep.
And he's just lying there like a useless tool bag.
They at least all fight with their feet or legs or whatever.
Oh, man, they don't go that far, but I couldn't believe it. Now reeling it back, right? Because there were all these warning signs in season 1, and there was so many fans that wanted it to be good. They were desperate for it to be good. I was there. I remember I was there during the dark times.
Oh, I remember you were there too. Yeah, we were all there.
And this thing feeling about Picard. I really wanted Picard to be good. wasn't.
Yeah,
Yep.
but though Picard
Terrible.
pulled a rabbit out of the hat in season 3. What did you think?
I didn't get there. I didn't
You
get
didn't
there. It
get
was
there.
too bad.
Okay. Because I literally have not watched season 1 or 2. Season 3 can be its own self-contained thing.
It just became Mass Effect. The guy just copied
season 3 even retcons things from the last 2 seasons, and they destroy like characters and stuff. It's beautiful. But okay, Wheel of Time, right? So not only were there fans who wanted it to be good, and I think there were reviewers who were more charitable than they perhaps would have been, but some have, reeled it back. Daniel Green was far more negative about it at the finale and in season 2. But there were so many problems that not enough people were calling out. Yep. And Night's Watch, this YouTube channel, was one of the only larger YouTube channels where I even had, and I don't consider us particularly large, but we had enough of a following where we were critical of this, and we're one of the few people. And there was back in the day, there was a small up and coming, YouTuber named Disparu who was also covering Wheel of Time, and he's exploded now, which I'm absolutely thrilled for him. I love Disparu, but back then he was just one of those small channels, but he was covering it, and he was one of the few people actually covering it honestly, calling it out for the crap. Because like I said, there was like a protection racket around this show, especially on friggin' Reddit. Anyone who would post anything negative about the show on all the large Wheel of Time forums would get that comment would get deleted, and they'll get insta-banned. They had like a mafia on Reddit.
Well, I think having a gay character and there's like protection money, like the more gay characters you have in there, the more protection you get.
Well, yes, and ironically, because what happened is these activists woke, mob latched onto Wheel of Time then would glaze it. They would say it's the best thing since sliced bread, and not because it was well written, it was because of all the glazing, and then they wanted to ship all these other characters being gay and everything like that. They were exactly the target audience that Rafe Judkins wanted, and there's the thing though, that audience is not the book audience, and it's minuscule, right? But it created a false veneer. Sorry.
Speaking of the devil in your chat, there's that little small timer in your chat.
Hey, Disparu, I'm sending you the link. You come on if you're available, and join in, because this is all Wheel of Time, mate. So. You are more than well. Of course, if you have time. I know it's an ungodly hour in the UK.
Is anyone going to get one of those like smug quotes of the guy and then pair it next to the show being canceled? It'd be kind of funny.
Oh gosh, yeah. There was a lot of smug quotes
in the middle of it. It goes, Wheel of Time canceled, and then all the smug quotes he's ever done, just all around Wheel of Time, has been canceled.
Yeah. It'd be too long. Well, I mean, right now they're busy on their third hashtag trying to save it. So, it's fun watching that. So,
hopefully they really try really hard and it never ever succeeds. Like the Acolyte, they're still trying to get the Acolyte back up and running. Still, desperately. No. They got a petition for that and everything. Still no go at all.
This thing is truly dead, and I'll explain why. Everything, the glazing, the compliments, and it went so far that there was one small Reddit group that emerged through the dark times that were openly critical of the show. The good old Wide Cloak subreddits, right? And they would share mine and Disparu's videos, and it was like the only place where you could actually be honest about this stuff
on all of Reddit.
But then all the activists brigaded that subreddit and got it banned off of Reddit. So they wanted to shut down any negative commentary around this show. It was crazy. And then you have the mainstream media glazing it, putting out all these articles that it's the best thing since sliced bread. And I actually think this did work in fooling the executives in Amazon, thinking, oh, look, we can, make something progressive for a modern audience that's based on a beloved IP. It works. And it never worked, but they lied and managed to fool them. And that's where I was thinking that they could pull it off with Rings of Power.
Yeah, it's exactly. I think they're very connected. And the only reason that Rings of Power is surviving is I think they lose a lot more face admitting that Rings of Power is a failure, especially all the money they spent on it. Admitting nobody knows what Wheel of Time is, and nobody watched it, nobody cares, which is that that is sad fact to admit that nobody knows this show even exists when it should be, in my
One of the
opinion,
biggest.
bigger than Game of Thrones ever was.
Mhm. If done right, it absolutely could have been.
Right. And so it's canceled. Nobody really, like, some of us know, but that's because, well, we know it already. The wider audience that we would have brought in, us fans, that would have said, hey, you got to watch this show, never got a chance to actually get people to come watch it for them because, well, we hated it. So canceling Wheel of Time, a show that gets no traction, that nobody knows, doesn't hurt so much. Rings of Power is another level. They're never going to cancel that until they get, well, I mean, would say their money's worth out of it, but they could be going for 12 seasons at that rate. But
well, it's all vanity projects to them. It's an ideological statement over making something decent, and so they could just like go down with that sinking ship with Rings of Power. But Wheel of Time was small enough for them to actually, abandon that sinking ship because there was no coming back from it. And the narrative and discussion around season 3 has been interesting because, again, what happened is most of the diehard fans gave up in season 1, and then season 2, that was the nail in the coffin for anyone just to try to hold on. And I had already given up on the show in episode 5 of season 1, but as a reviewer, I stuck to it all through season. But then season 2 got so astronomically bad, it hurt my soul so much. I wouldn't even want to shill off of that thing or ride the hate train, as they say.
That's my job. That's what
that's Steve's job, right? To review season 3 because that thing was deader than dead. It was the biggest dumpster fire I've ever seen. I could not even hate watch it anymore at that point, right? And so anyone who had any hope of actually liking this show had jumped ship, and all that they had left was the tiniest of audience of the activists that were celebrating it to the moon because it had, gay romances in them, and they couldn't wait for Rand to have a romance with Perrin and stuff like that. They were wanting to ship all the characters.
They would answer important questions, Shad, like who takes it in the butt? Which one?
True. Half the cast does. So no.
But here's the thing:
we now kiss the one who bottoms.
Right? Because everyone who hated the show had already jumped ship, and the only people left with a glazing audience, the narrative around season 3 was that it got better. But hey, gentlemen, we have another guest, Disparu.
Hey.
Hello. I have a question. As you have seen season 3, there was a storyline in episode 7 of season 1. They were in the tavern, and Perrin and Rand were arguing, and Rand thought that Perrin was with Egwene, and he was getting jealous. Now, the theory always was that Perrin was after Rand, which is why Egwene didn't mind being around him afterwards. Did that ever come up in the story ever again?
No. The Perrin Rand love story never came through. I'm actually they ended up meeting. They ended up meeting up again in briefly in Fall Main season 2, but they're just the three of them are just hanging out in Tarvalin at the beginning of season 3, having drinks. Just I could see them being in like a non-committal thruple, that Matt Rand and Perrin. I can see that happening, but the dagger eyes and hate for Rand and Egwene relationship. No, they just flushed that down the toilet.
Didn't Matt get with Min?
Was at the end, Min. So it is alluded to that Matt and Min are going to be a couple at the end of season 3. Yes.
I read that in an article, but I can't remember that.
Yeah. Basically, the end scene for Matt is Matt and Min riding on a boat on a gay boat cruise, holding hands, getting ready to go down the cabin to make sweet loving. Yes,
right. And she's like twice his age.
I couldn't.
Who knows in the show? I have no idea.
So let's show an image of Min. This is what Min should kind of look like according to the books. Okay, she's a brunette. She's a bit of a tomboy. She wears pants, but she's still a very attractive young woman. This is the Min from the TV show. I'm sorry. One of these.
That's Dante Bosco.
Oh, this is Min. This is a great picture of Min. right?
Oh yeah, there's so many good pictures. Actually, you want to know what's fun? The picture of Min, the one in the pant coat, the light blue one over there on the right. Somebody at Jordan Con, they do a costume contest. That one. Somebody actually did a dressed up in that exact outfit. She didn't even make the top 10. It's like she looks great. It's just like, wow, yes.
Min is such a good character, but they cast a middle-aged Asian woman, and like these are more gamma shots. She looks old in the books, right? Like, hang on, this is supposed to be Min? Like, what are they smoking?
Oh, well, that's my favorite game to play with Wheel of Time. You get all the cast. you go up to a book reader and be like, "Who's who?" And they have no idea. They cannot pick them out of a lineup.
I thought you were going to say the favorite game was, what are they smoking? Is it crack? Is it pot?
I mean, I'm like, actually, that is a fun game, because if I was showing this character, who is this actor supposed to be, I would never, not in a million years, think Min, far sure.
Never.
I'd be thinking like maybe more Gideon. I'm like the spider. She has a bit of a spider kind of,
yeah, but again, they were young because they didn't have the the Aes Sedai bond, so they stayed younger for longer.
Yeah, you're right. She's still too old, and that was like so bonkers to me, because they had the opportunity to cast a lot of young, actors and stuff like that, because Aes Sedai are supposed to have this ageless look, and if you're not bonded by the 3 oaths, you actually just don't age. And
they took it, instead of making them ageless, they made them all omega old. It's like, it's like, no, that's no. They just totally, instead of, it's like, oh, it's too hard to make them look ages. It's like, well, then just make them look young, make them young, and have them act old.
Well, that's the problem. They couldn't, because it was supposed to be you saw their age and their wisdom through their eyes.
Right.
Well, now you're having to get actresses to pretend that they're these wise sages from across the years. There's no way in modern Hollywood you can find those people. They just don't exist.
And this is a great image of what Min should look like. That is like
spot on.
She's wearing shortcut kind of tight-fitting coats, pants, but still distinctly feminine.
You don't have a picture of her pantsuit in season 3?
No, I don't. If you look it up,
oh, good lord. Oh, good lord. I'll find it for you.
I mean, Min is just one example. The casting in this show was a travesty. And there's an episode here on Night's Watch, if you can go back and look up Wheel of Time, where we actually showed the actors that Robert Jordan would, I guess he did. There's a time when Robert Jordan said, if Wheel of Time could be made, these are the actors that I'll pick for the roles. And they're there, and we looked those up and compared those actors compared to the actual casting, and it is bonkers. The bastardization of the casting they did with this show, all for diversity. And Wheel of Time is actually diverse, but it wasn't diverse enough. Not enough old women to be shared in the show. But Disbury,
this is something that Arch raised in his video, and I forgot about it from the first thing. You show this to someone and go, "Who's the main character?" And they'd be like, well, probably her, or I don't know. We know Hollywood. Maybe it's them, or maybe it's this guy. And no, he's the main character, the savior of the universe, shoved up in the far right-hand corner.
Furthest back that you can dump him, the main character, the Dragon Reborn, the thing that everything revolves around this guy. And
if you had to ask me, someone who hasn't read the books or watched the show, I would say that the girl in the middle is the main character. Oh, there's like a show. It's about her.
Yeah, but the thing is, this thing, she is effectively the main character of the show.
That was Rafe's choice.
Blaze Moraine so much and exaggerate. Like, Moraine is a really important character, a great character, but she's actually not that important in the large scheme of things. She goes to, like, I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but saying that she gets pushed to the sidelines after book 4 is an understatement for how much she is pushed to the sidelines.
It's because the roles are between her and Lan. She teaches him the social element of how to become an adult in the world, and he teaches him the masculine element. So they're essentially the father figures of him, because he had a very closed upbringing. He was never in the world, and they experienced it. But it is a case of, once you've imparted your knowledge, they go off into the world and do their own stuff now. So you cease to exist as a main character at that point in their lives.
Yeah.
And so it is supposed to follow him. But even in the back two characters, this guy's got a sword, so he still looks more important.
He does.
The guy just standing there with no expression on his face.
Yeah, I know. He's like looking like he's constipated.
Yeah, the main character back there. Yeah. So I was shared the image. So
all right. So this
is pantsuit. Yeah.
So this is what Min should look like, and this is when Robert John describes her wearing kind of high raised, small kind of jackets and stuff. This is what the show thinks that is. It's not adding to the stage. Let me remove that.
There it is.
Yeah. Wow. So feminine and
I haven't seen this. Was this season 3?
That's Min. That's Min's pantsuit. That's before she changes. That's before she changes into the leather, dominatrix outfit later. What that Matt
She has a leather dominatrix outfit.
Yes. Oh, you think I'm joking? Yes, she does.
You look like to lecture me about Trump and climate change or something.
Yes, there's absolutely a leather dominatrix. At least I thought.
Oh, good.
I don't know what else she's doing with it. She's like, it's a high cut. It's like cut off, and it's weird. I'll try and find that too.
This is a perfect example of the show's philosophy, which is male gaze bad, and that literally contradicts so many things in the books.
What on earth is this? I was googling like leather outfits in Wheel of Time, and I found something like ridiculous.
Well, it's definitely in the show then. If it's ridiculous,
yeah.
I mean,
it's a very low res image, but
no, hang on, I need to remove that, and then
what is that?
Everything is so dark. Oh yes, so that's part. Yes, absolutely. So. This is one of their many. When she goes through in Roydion, she does. Moraine, of course, has to go in. So this is one of her futures. There is the evil bad simp group, or like the evil group of.
They've given him Zuma hair.
So no, you're missing pirate. You're missing pirate Matt, and you're missing it's the evil good guys. There's a whole shot of all the evil.
Hang on,
the evil.
As
crew.
you know. Evil men always wear makeup. Of makeup.
Well, the term "evil men" is kind of redundant. It's just men.
Oh, right,
True. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Now there is like an underlining point to their philosophy here with this image, which is remember male gaze bad, which contradicts the books where many women throughout the books use their feminine attractiveness to manipulate men.
Yes.
Being first and foremost, she purposely goes out of her own books to wear really tight pants so she can shake her ass at Red and tempt him constantly. And she does it to tease him. And that's why she wears such tight-fitting clothing. But how we can't have that. I mean, well, they'll objectify the men. They'll literally strip the shirts off the men constantly. But the women, no. We're going to make them look like office workers.
Oh, this one might be better. I put up the dominatrix suit, but somebody Will sent me a better one. It has what Matt is wearing in Tanchico right next to it. If you want to see it, it's all dark, by the way. You can't see any of it. Let me see. Let me share this one instead. This one might be better. But plus, you get to see. You get to see Matt because Matt is wearing some of the best outfits I've ever seen. But he upgraded bathrobes.
Sorry, disprove what you said.
It was like a meme. It was like a meme template.
Yeah. So that's what they're wearing throughout the whole season. That's their outfits.
There was also a lot of commentary throughout the series that the power in a wife was to actually sort of go along with what the guy said and manipulate him in the background as his wife behind closed doors, which is why you had like the women's circles and everything where they would get together and they'd all be like, yeah, we decide we run this town and then we go back to there and we convince them in the privacy of their own home. So
all the men are idiots. Men are just stupid men, and we women are. And contrary to the book, where the town council and the women's
that is
circle,
the book. The book had the idea that women were manipulating the men at home in their own stuff.
Yes, but the thing is, the book showed the men aware of it and knowing, like, sometimes you just got to play on with the women and just let them think that they're doing important stuff. And also, the men are doing important stuff in the book. Like the village councils are usually handling the really, but in the women's council, they're usually dealing with the relationship turmoil and other things like that. Stuff that men wouldn't be bothered with, or to have they were given too much of a headache to deal
It was
with.
set gender roles, so it was
Yes.
like one handles the social side of stuff, the other handles that we need to fix this barn, our town's burning down.
Yes, exactly. But
Look, these two characters are laughing at you for still caring about Wheel of Time. Like, you can't still care about Wheel of Time.
well, I mean, I care about the books. This show can be cast into the fire. And where it
Also,
will never
no one
return.
should ever underestimate how petty and like stubborn I can be.
Yes,
So, I can dig my heels in and remain an arsehole longer than you can pay for a failing show.
It's glorious. Now, we were reminiscing a bit before Disparu about the glazing and the protection racket that they were pushing with Wheel of Time season 1. Are there any fond memories you have of back then when this was just starting to come out and we were covering it? Because if you need a moment to think about it.
What do you mean? Like before the show came out, or like during its release?
During and everything, how they were deleting Reddit posts.
Oh no, my favorite moment of the show, and it was the moment I gave up on the show. Well, I kind of didn't expect it to get good after, I think it was episode 3. But by episode 5, with the water storyline,
that's me. Yeah,
it broke me. I started laughing at it, and I was done. But then I remember episode 7 drew me back in, and it was that in scene. That's why I've always remembered it. It pissed me off no end. And I have never watched the second half of my video because I edited it, never watched it back. I was so pissed off, I deleted like half the video and just published it. Those are probably my 2 biggest moments for that.
Oh my gosh. It's hard to describe how bad that show went. And then season 2 just goes, like I said, off the rails, and I was done. And I haven't watched season 3, but as we mentioned, we have a gentleman here who has. Steve, do you want to give us like either a recap or some of the best worst moments of season 3? Because again, everyone who cared about the show or wanted it to be good or cared about the books has jumped shipped a long time ago. The only audience that it had left were people glazing it to heaven. And as a result, there is this false narrative that season 3 got better and it's actually good. And you'll see it has high ratings on like whatever IBDM or whatever that is, right? And the reason is because everyone who like hated the show is jumped ship by now.
They're gone, yeah.
Yeah, and so only the glazers are left, and it's painting a false narrative that like season 3 is actually decent. It's like, okay, where's the freaking audience?
Well, it's funny because like case in point, like the first 15 minutes, which were reshoot, like that's not it probably is one of the worst parts of season 3. It's supposed to be the flight from the tower, them stealing the Terangral from when they steal everything, blah 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 blah.
And they subvert that from the books, because in the books they kind of just did it subtly. They kill a few Aes Sedai, but they sneak out. Now in the show, they decide to make a massive battle.
It's a massive battle. The time, like if you pay any attention to how time lines up, it doesn't work. It's just people killing each other. It's just a giant mess.
Well, it also ruins so much of the further narrative, because the reality of the Black Aja was supposed to be kept a secret. This is the whole reason why Swan, the Amyrlin, went to Nynaeve and Egwene, like just recruits basically, to hunt the Black Aja, because she couldn't trust any of the other sisters in the tower. And it's like, well, hang on. If you have this entire scene of the Black Aja blowing the White Tower to hell, it kind of lets the cat out of the bag, don't you think? And you could logically assume that a lot of the women that they were trying to kill probably aren't in the Black Aja, and you might want to recruit those Aes Sedai to hunt them down. And so it just goes to show you that the writers, they do not understand the narrative of the setups and payoffs in the book at all, where they're just like, we just need a battle. And sorry, I've got.
Well, that's it. No, but that's it. It's like we need an action battle because you could tell the feedback they probably got was it was too boring, because episode 1 was just boring. There's some it's just it's boring. They were hanging their hat on that scene so much as like, oh, it starts off so great, blah blah blah. I guess we're not worried about spoilers at this point, are we?
No, spoil it to friggin' hell.
No, that's what Amazon did.
So to get to some of the endings, Perrin's arc ends in episode 7 by getting arrested by the White Cloaks and leaving Edmondsfield arrested by the White Cloaks. So
hang on. They have the Battle of Edmondsfield in this.
They have the Battle of Edmondsfield. It's a terrible mess. If you want to see that, I would suggest you watch the Battle of Edmondsfield, which is episode 7. It's all just one episode. It's horrible. It is absolute trash. I would actually mark that whole episode as one of the worst moments. Lord Luke is in the show for 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
And then he leaves. Like, it's one of those things, where we've all said, like, they're just borrowing names and places. There is a character named Lord Luke. That's it. He's there. He doesn't do anything.
He's like, of course they're going to ignore him because, in case people don't, Lord Luke becomes a very important antagonist for Perrin, like especially at the end of the book in the final battle. Holy crap, Slayer, right?
Yep.
Really important.
And Tainted Thor is not as the Battle of the Two Rivers, by the way.
Look, I don't want to watch it because it'll hurt me too much. The Battle of Emond's Field is probably my favorite part in the entire Wheel of Time series, right? And the culmination, the epic kind of build up towards the end for the Battle of Emond's Field is so great. And it's a minor spoiler, but it's just such a powerful moment when all the men are fighting at the front lines in these kind of palisade that they made around Emond's Field to fight off the Trollocs, and they're getting just hammered, and they're trying to protect the women and children. And there's a moment in the books where the women see their men dying for them, and the women then decide to just take up whatever weapon they can, and they come in and they try and help, and they struggle. Like there's a girl being held up by the hair by a Trolloc who's about to be killed, and she sticks a dagger into him, and so the women are like, they can barely fight, yet they're willing to sacrifice their lives to help their men. This biggest moment in the book, and it's so freaking epic. And to see these assholes bastardize that is just it would hurt me too much.
Hey,
man.
we get a women's shield wall, okay? I mean, like they're okay, like what do you want? I mean, we get a Viking shield wall for the women.
Do they put the women in the fight at the beginning of the fight?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We see more women. Hold on.
I'm all for this.
Kidding. Like one of the strongest moments in that thing is the men protecting the women. Right?
No. World War III can be the women's war. Like, we've done enough.
I gotta find the women's shield wall for you. Yeah.
I can't stand this crap.
Also, that same episode, Loyal dies.
Yeah, of course.
Kind of gives you a little respect for like the Two Towers, Lord of the Rings movie, where all the women were over there, safe in the stronghold. Well, even like the 12-year-old boys are trying out to go fight the Uruk-hai.
I can't stand so one of my favorite moments in the book. They literally subvert because of their friggin' propaganda woke ideology. Can't have women be protected by men. They can have a friggin' shield wall.
Well, we do.
But they did that from episode what? Like, do you remember very first episode when the Trollocs first appear? And this guy is a sword master. He's one of the best people in the world with a sword. And the guy, I think a Trolloc just falls on him, and he may kill one out of all of them. And it was the most pathetic thing ever.
I can't believe
No wonder they couldn't have him back for the fight. He would have probably stabbed himself in the foot.
We also have the very touching but tender Mascom Alana sex scene during the fight of the Two Rivers. So, Alana Sedai, who is such an important character, her and her warder were getting busy. So
of course,
of course.
I think that is in her character, though, isn't it? Isn't she the one that bonded Lan?
She is an absolute whore. Yes, she is.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, during the battle, though, she's lobbing fireballs fighting the trolls in the books.
It's very dark, but there's her shield wall.
There's the women's shield wall.
So that
I mean, that ruins so much. It ruins so much because that moment, because women do fight in the Battle of Emond's Field, but it's built on the natural protective instincts that men have, and the women willing to, they know they can't fight really well. They're going to be slaughtered by the Trollocs, but they're willing to sacrifice their lives to save their men. And it still begins to fail, by the way, right? Only, is it, because I'm trying to remember, it's been a while now, because I've reread it recently, but that is like in book 3 or 4, book 4, I think. And it's a long book series. I'm trying to remember how it culminates.
It's 4.
It's book 4.
Yeah.
Because the White Cloaks are the ones that come in. No. It was the White Cloaks are there, but the White Cloaks end up not helping them as much, and they get saved by the people from Taran Fair. No,
just the other outline. The other
outline.
Fail comes back.
Fail rallies them and brings them and saves them.
So
at the moment they're about to be wiped out. Yeah.
So that's one of the inherent problems with the whole Battle of the Two Rivers. So you have Perrin. They have the deal. They make the deal, right? So Perrin says, "I'll turn myself in. blah 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 blah. I'll give myself up after. Then you have the White Cloaks go back on that. They don't come in until they don't fight. The Two Rivers people survive on their own. Well, in the show, we get our Helm's Deep moment where the White Cloaks blow their Helm's Deep horn and come in to save the day like they're the elves from Helm's Deep, and then they come and fight in the fight. So then at the end, Perrin has to give himself up because, well, the White Cloaks came and fought, so that's why he gets arrested.
Holy crap! Because that's the complete opposite of the book. Perrin has every justification to not surrender himself to the White Cloaks because they don't help.
Correct.
And in this one, it ends up with him being arrested.
He's arrested, and they let him go because that was the deal he made, and they held up their end. So Alana also does take a Trolloc harpoon through the chest.
Does she die?
No, she lives.
Oh, she lives. Oh, okay.
No, but the other Aes Sedai, the unnamed Aes Sedai. Oh, well, she's not an Aes Sedai. She recruited some Edmund Fielders. So the Edmund Fielder that can channel took the same harpoon through the chest, and she died. But Alana was fine. She survived. She's fine.
See what I mean? Like, people are trying to say season 3's great. From the things that you're telling me,
this is just this is just episode 7. Padden Fane survives the battle, of course, because Perrin says, "Be a good boy and don't kill anybody, but you can leave as long as you don't kill us anymore." And even Padden Fane goes, "You're gonna trust me to my word?" And Perrin's like, "Yeah, why not?" And then they all run away.
In case people don't know, Padden Fane is a known dark friend, which means a devil-worshipping, murdering psychopath at this point. There is no way in hell they would let that guy go.
Matt's sisters are the Wonder Twins. They can both channel, but they channel together. They're ulti linked. They learn how to heal Matt without any training. But when they need to heal,
that happens a lot in that show.
Exactly. when they need to heal immediately to get Alana back into the battle, they can't do it because they're too scared. So that's how they eliminate the Aes Sedai from the battles of the Two Rivers. Is one gets killed with a harpoon, Alana gets killed with a harpoon, but doesn't really die. She's just really hurt. And then the Wonder Twins can't heal her because they get too scared.
They don't even realize the knock-on effects that has. So, like, after the breaking, there was a
No
load
breaking.
of women.
No breaking. Sorry, go ahead.
Well,
no breaking.
Well, there was a breaking.
There
was. After that, loads of both men and women died because they had to start messing with, like, trying to come up with the patterns again to do all the magic and stuff. So they were experimenting because they'd lost the knowledge. And now all of that has gone out the window because people are just coming up with weaves out of thin air, which was supposed to be Rand's talent because he actually had an ancient guy in his brain. Like, that was his only thing that he had above other people. But now everyone's got it.
Exactly. He could feed off of the latent kind of memory because there's a reborn, literal kind of power guy, right? And end up pulling out weaves that people have never seen of that his past self learned. And you're absolutely right how much it ruins everything because without guidance, trying to learn the power was a death sentence. You would kill yourself. If you accidentally do a weave
get
wrong,
one thread wrong and healing suddenly becomes a bomb.
Yes.
Yep.
That's and the fact that they're just like Nynaeve's mega healing in episode 4, episode 3.
When she wasn't even meant to be able to channel because she's supposed to have a block.
Yeah, and she isn't supposed to be good at healing either. Oh no, so that's the main thing.
No, she was.
Because it was Elaine that healed Rand at the end of season 2, and she isn't supposed to be good at healing. But
exactly.
Out mega healing again. Oh.
Yeah, no. The reason I said the reason I said there's no breaking, because you're absolutely right. There is a breaking. The tower doesn't break at the end of season 3. Elida just kills Suwan.
Yeah, I heard that go around on Twitter when it happened, and that is only because I think they saw, well, Moraine's got to get with Tom, but we can't have a fallout with Chuan because that would be like lesbians splitting up, and that would be a bad thing. So they had to kill her to make her like this messianic kind of. No, well, that's the wrong word. What's it called? Where you die for a cause.
Oh well, yeah,
martyr.
Martyr.
So she becomes a martyr that. Moraine will always look up to as the most perfect relationship she's ever had. She can talk to Tom about her and it'll be fine.
Oh shoot! Did I? So that's Suan dead right there.
Swan lying dead.
Yep.
And
So Swan's dead.
guys, Swan, she's not an important character in the book. So she's arguably becomes more important than Moraine, and she does more than Moraine in the story.
Well, she's also the mirror to Logain because they were both cut off. And that's probably another thing. You would have essentially women torturing other women because it was the worst thing you could do to them was to cut them off. And they kept her around deliberately as a show of everyone else. This is why you don't mess with us. Like, we can't have them looking evil. That'd be a bit rough.
Every single thing just shows time and time again. The writers and creators of this show don't know spit about Wheel of Time and the overall narrative that it should be telling and the importance of certain characters. It's unbelievable.
Or they did. And they kind of purposely went against it.
They purposely wanted to subvert it.
They kept running into situations which broke their rule set of what they're allowed to do for essentially power dynamics rules. And so they had to change it.
So Samael gets killed by Mo Gideon.
Okay, Morgideon, right? So these are if people don't know, these are the Forsaken. They're some of the most evil people ever live there. They worship the devil of this world and is sworn mega servants. Morgideon is one of them, and she is one of the more she's the weakest. She's one of the weakest, and she fails the most, and she's deathly afraid of the other like Forsaken, and she ends up being a slave and a servant. But it seems like because she's a woman, she's going to be now more powerful than the male Forsaken. And the male Forsaken in the books are like they are messed up and crazy and powerful. And you
have to remember in this book series, the power levels are maths. We know exactly who's more powerful than who, to what thing, and men are stronger in the power than women. That has always been. Women say they can control it better, like more finesse, but the men are vastly stronger in it. And it's not even close. The strongest woman to have ever lived is nothing but like a candle next to Rand in his power.
And so, I mean, there's a moment in the book where both it's Elaine and either Nynaeve or Egwene. It's one of them, but I think it might be Egwene and Nynaeve, where they were trying to tease Rand, and Rand kind of snaps and just lashes out with the power and shoves a shield on them and ties them up. And they say afterwards that they're like, they had never been, I couldn't believe how easily he manhandled them with the power. Like he just dominated and by the way, both those girls are some of the most powerful female channelers that this world has seen in thousands of years. And Rand just blasts through them like and he can barely use the power at this point. Before he's even properly trained, he just dominates them. That's the power difference that we're dealing with in the book. But that's problematic, men being stronger than women, you know.
So
on the wiki there's actually a list of the characters in order of
is there
they have the power rankings from characters. There is it is very definitive who is stronger than who, and the strongest woman is not stronger than the weakest, like in terms of the hierarchy of like the Forsaken, the named characters. There's not a woman stronger than the weakest male. So even the weakest male Forsaken is stronger than in that listing.
It says there's 72 levels of scale. Like people get into like what Tolkien did, but all of this is maths out in the books. Like everyone knows what it is. 1 is the strongest a female character can be, and men being stronger we needed 6 extra strength levels just for their own level. Because there is just a gap. It's like no. Oh, there's one.
And it's really shocking and surprising when a woman comes around who's crazy powerful. And there's like only 2. There's Nynaeve, and Nynaeve is only just as strong as Morgideon, and Morgideon is the weakest Forsaken, basically. Right? And Nynaeve, the most powerful like female Channa since they've seen in ages. Right? Is only on Morgideon's level. But of course, in the TV show, like Nynaeve is as powerful as the Dragon Reborn. They literally think she's the Dragon Reborn because it could be a male or female in this.
There's Nynaeve. There's Rand.
Like those are the scales of difference between the power levels.
It's wild.
Like, oh my gosh.
So I have a picture of Samael's body. Now because Morgideon, remember Morgideon is
she's weaker than Nynaeve.
Yeah, so
Slightly,
there's,
yeah.
there's a moment in the books where Nynaeve goes head to head with Morgedion, and their powers are matched and equal. But the reason is Nynaeve is still growing, and she hasn't reached her full potential yet.
That's supposed to be this season of television. Was supposed to be the Nynaeve Morgedion showdown.
Yep. And
don't get it.
And so you're right, because like Nynaeve actually does become a bit more powerful than Morgedion a bit later. Holy
so no, we don't get the Nynaeve Morgedion showdown. Instead, we get we don't get any. Well, we get a Leandrin Nynaeve showdown because Leandrin's still around.
I want to talk about that, but just on this list, Disparu, where's Landfear? Because they were.
Oh, she's top of the women. She's top
of the women. She's tough because
just
Landfear
below
is
the men.
another one.
Samarage.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because they were showing Morgedion to be as powerful as Rand, more powerful in the show. But look at all these other channelers more powerful than Landfear and Nynaeve. You've got Baal, Asmodean, Bathamal, which is Arangar, all the male channelers. And then right at the top, you got Rand, Moradin, and Ravin.
And look at, I like this, formerly the established maximum strength level of Anat Aes and then you had others that came out as like, oh, actually, no, the new generation is here.
Yeah, there's Avienda.
No wonder they were pissed, because it's like they used to be the strongest, which is how they ordered society, and suddenly now we've got to give in to these newbies.
Well, in case people don't know, what I find really interesting is like the in the books, the authority structure is actually what they would you'd think feminists would consider toxic, and it actually works to the negative. The books paint this as a problem, that the authority structure in the White Tower, the Aes Sedai Tower, is based on strength. Whoever is more powerful or stronger in the power gets greater kind of authority and can overrule people just based on power level.
Well, they could command you to do anything. That you would be the one that made tea for everybody else. You would be just submit. And it was instinctual, because they could like sense everybody else's power, so they would just they were trained to submit.
Mm-hmm. Well, that submit part actually is in line with how the women's power should operate. So it does make sense. The books justify this very well. And you're right, like in the books, that upends things, because the women know that Nynaeve and Elaine and Egwene are all going to overpower them. And Nynaeve is the strongest female channel they've seen in ages, until they meet the woman that from the Shonchan. I forget her name.
She's right there, Olivia. She smashed in between Cimmerig and Lanfear. Yeah.
And I remember there is a quote from I think it's Moraine about Egwene versus Nynaeve, and she's like, she is the strongest that we've ever seen. Although when Nynaeve becomes into her own power, she will be like a candle to her bonfire. And so that is just a few rankings. So from there up to Rand would be like to a nuclear weapon.
Yes, exactly. Cancel to a nuclear weapon, right? And like this is very consistent and important in the books. Power level is really important in the books.
Very.
In the show, they just don't give a friggin' crap. And Nynaeve is as powerful as Rand and all this bull crap. And Rand is like a wet rag. Pathetic. I can't.
On his knees most of the time.
On his knees.
They stripped both of his finales with him. So in the first series, he couldn't fight the Trollocs. But like they just get some women.
Well, the three,
and then in the second one, which I only saw a video about, I never saw the episode.
Oh, but, you're so lucky you didn't see the episode. Yeah, the Battle of Falme is
that's
so
why
bad.
I stopped.
but then so there's no fight between Asmodean or anybody in Rand and Rodion. They skip it. The big fight at the end of season 3 is Moraine versus Lanfear.
A friggin' course, those
of which neither of them die. They both survive.
You kidding me?
I mean, wait, hold on. You missed. So this is Samael's dead body I showed you, because Morgedion. Now remember, Morgedion is called the Spider.
Yeah.
So she made a spider web out of his guts.
Do you get it, guys? Do you get it?
Morgedian's a spider, guys.
It wasn't because she liked spiders. It was because she had webs of spies all over the place to manipulate people.
But then we can't do the spider web weaves to hold everybody in place. What do you mean?
This is just the problem. When you can't abstract, you have to take everything literally. They cannot comprehend the deeper meaning behind the words.
the director just autistic? Like, okay, she's called the spider, so obviously
Yes.
she makes spider webs.
Well, but so it's so wild because we get to this point. Okay, but this is so Mogideon does this to Samael, but Samael is okay. So we all got this wrong somehow. Lanfear, for some reason, sends Samael, who is just introduced in like one scene. Lanfear sends Samael to kill Rand. He's about to kill him, and Rand does some weird thing and lightning bolts him and knocks him out. So we're all like, oh, so they're getting rid of Asmodean and they're going to make Samael train Rand. Rand is Samael. They're going to, right? So that's what we all thought because, it came out and we noticed that, he didn't have a 1-power MacGuffin sword to kill him because apparently 1-power swords are how you kill Forsaken. Apparently, makes sense of that. So we were like, oh, so Samael survived. So at the beginning of the next episode, there he is. Samael's in the dungeon. He's alive. So, and then they're having this talk. Moraine's, of course, trying to interrogate him. She does a terrible fucking job because she sucks. And then when she leaves, Mogideon comes in and rips his insides out, and leaves him like that. Because she wants to find out how to kill a Forsaken. That was her motivation to kill Samael. She wants to know how to kill a Forsaken, so she rips his inside out and makes a spider web.
These are ancient beings. They know how they know that they're not gods. They're just people that are powerful and more knowledgeable than you. So it would be like us going back to medieval times and showing them a mobile phone. That's the equivalent. And it's like, oh, let's work out how to kill his iPhone. It's the most stupid thing we've got with.
I can't believe it. And again, like Mogideon was called the Spider-Ass, but just to mention, not only the webs of the contact she has, she worked in the shadows because she was so weak compared to the other Forsaken that she needed to subvert and use espionage and trickery and stuff. And so they called her like this trickery spider. But now she's the spider because of spider magic.
How did the last season end? Did it end could it end the show, or was it really like an L?
The last season ended with a giant fire dragon on top of a tower because the evil person told another person to remember Fall May ends with the fire.
That's season 2. That's
season 2.
Yeah.
Oh, you're asking how this season ended?
Cliffhanger, or did they conclude?
Because I know Daniel Green was not pleased with it. He was reading a thing that said it was. They thought it might end, and so it was supposed to round everything out. He was like, no, it didn't.
Not at all. So this is going to be several parts. So the Battle of the Two Rivers ends. You could sort of actually, the Battle of the Two Rivers sort of ends in a good place. Perrin has given himself up for execution, so Perrin's dead. So Perrin dies at the end of Wheel of Time season 3. So Perrin's story is sort of wrapped up because Perrin's story ends with him giving himself up to the White Cloaks for summary execution. So if you just, your headcanon.
I like that. I couldn't stand him as a character.
Yeah, no, so Perrin dies, so everybody's good. Perrin's dead. So his story sort of gets wrapped up. Nynaeve fails to protect Rand in the male Adom from Liandrin. Why Liandrin's still in play, who knows? But they go to find Liandrin and get the male Adom from Liandrin in Tanchico. Her block, the block that she sort of has, gets in the way. Liandrin throws her into the ocean with the power instead of just killing her with a 1-power chain wrapped around her. Nynaeve is bolstered by her memory of her made-up daughter that she saw in season 2 when she was in the accepted trial. She is bolstered by her thought of her made-up daughter that doesn't exist and is able to get by her block and free herself of the chains and makes parts the ocean like Moses. And walks out. She walks out, parting the seas like Moses. She stands up on the deck and she goes, heh, and then that's it. She laughs because she doesn't have a block anymore, but she's completely failed Rand and lost the male Adom. So now the Shadow has the male Adom. She's a failure.
So what they've done,
that's where she ends.
Her block is cured by love.
Yes,
because it beats
100%.
anger,
yes. Right.
Rather than being. No, because she's a woman, she must submit to the power.
Yeah. Correct.
Yes. Because they wouldn't be able to have her submit.
Love conquers all. Yes.
Nynaeve's arc is important.
Yes.
Where she has to learn how to submit, and she's the quintessential girl boss. I'll never do that. You do what I say, and that she has to embrace this feminine side of herself. And holy crap, like the relationship between her and Lan, when they basically she has to what I forget which
That's even worse, because if the power to the women controlling the power is love, the men are the opposite, which means the men controlling the power must be driven by hate.
Oh, I thought they were driven by dirtiness. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Because
It has to be hate. It has to be hate and rage.
I would believe
why
it.
the
I
men
would
are
believe
controlling
it
the power.
in the TV show.
You're right.
To be fair, that's what I'm powered by.
They've essentially turned them into Sith. That's what they've done.
Dude, I love it. I'm there for. Hey, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's make them all evil. Why not?
So in regards to Nynaeve's arc, right, when she finally gets married, they have a agreement that she has to obey Lan either like in private, and he listens to her in public, and she's learned how to do it, and it kind of has to, and it's again those traditional relationships there in a marriage relationship. The woman listens to that,
Dude,
the wife listens to her, and Nynaeve learns that. That's her.
Nynaeve ends up
right?
being one of the best characters in the whole series, in my opinion. But so that's where Nynaeve ends. Let's see.
But we need to jump on.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Nynaeve, but it's like Nynaeve, like that block. It's problematic for a woman to learn how to submit. Remember, and so she just has a block because whatever reason.
That's not a bad idea from White Cloaks. 2 truths and a lie. And we have to guess what's true.
Yeah.
Right. Man. Oh, dude.
Oh my gosh. So that's how Nynaeve runs. What a retarded, stupid thing. And she's fighting Leandrin. Leandrin isn't that powerful compared to Nynaeve, right? Like in the books, she's fighting Morgedion. And that's the epic showdown for Nynaeve and the battle for the Idum. Holy crap. So, that works great. And sorry, Steve, you're gonna mention what was up next then.
Yeah, I got somebody working on 2 truths and a lie for us because I can't think of anything on top of my head. So that could be fun because there's some outlandish stuff. So let's see. Matt ends up going to Finland. They take the Finns. So he does go through the red door.
Okay, yes.
I read an article about this, and apparently it's not in Ruvian anymore. He just described it like it was a random door that he found somewhere. So it was supposed to. I was reading. Rafe kept talking about how the key to television is the audience doesn't know what you're going to do next. It's unexpected storylines is why people watch television. And so that's why he kept changing the books.
So, yeah, that's exactly right. But I don't know what that has to do with. Yeah, no, you're right that he said that. But
let's unpack that. Let's unpack that because that is profoundly retarded when you're talking about an adaptation of a beloved book series. It's
but this is why the Eelfin had to be in a different place because everyone expected it to be done in one place. It's like, well, we kept the door, we just put it somewhere else.
Well, the door, the door is just the door is just there, and they're looking for the male ad, like parts of the male ad. I mean, he just walks through the door. He's like, he's like gone. It's like what?
So this is Rafe thinking, let's not give them the story that they want. In fact, let's do the exact opposite of what is supposed to happen. That's his logic here for an adaptation of thing because it would be unexpected. Are you retarded? That's it. That's an excuse for him to write his own story for his own vanity and self-gratification because he thinks he can do a better job than Robert Jordan. He thinks that, like, literally, the people in Hollywood, they will look at the Wheel of Time and think that is a problematic story. We can improve it. We can fix this. And they fix it with their ideology. And of course, the result is one of the most atrocious bastardizations of a beloved story I've ever seen. That's the result. And it's all based on their own hubris and arrogance going in. It is actually disgusting what they've done here. And this is just case in point again, where it's like we need to change it because they would expect it to be good. Let's actively make it bad. Can't believe it.
Well, even said afterwards, I hope that people that haven't read the books realize the importance of what's happened with the Eelfin. And I'm like, shouldn't you have? That should be. It was obvious in the book. It was important, so it should be obvious in the show. You just do the same thing.
And so they obviously, it sounds like they only have one. He doesn't even visit because I've been getting mixed up. First he visits one, which is the Eelfin or Aelfin, and then he visits the other group because it's a different door in Rodion. And do they have it? It sounds like they don't even have the 2 visitations to the different worlds. It's just one. Sorry, sorry, Steve, you're muted for some reason. Yeah, we don't know what's going on.
Sorry, I muted myself. I was clicking around trying to find it for you. So I don't know if you want to play it at all. I have it muted, but
we'll get We'll get if
yeah,
you
you'll
could, we're gonna have
definitely
to
get
only do a couple of seconds.
It'll just be a second. So here, let me just here watch it. So there's the door. You see the door right there?
It's just hang on. It's
Wait,
just a random
in a
door.
room that they're in.
Yes,
What
it's
the
just
friggin'?
they're in a storeroom looking for the male Adon parts. Him and Min are bickering like an old couple, and there's just a door sitting there in the room,
And he just goes through.
and then he does and then he goes like this, Whoop! And that's it. Oh wait, and then this is what's on the other side, Shad. Hold on, real quick. There you go.
What have they done to What the hell is that?
I can't even remember what I imagined when I was reading the book, but it was not that.
Oh my god.
That looks more like Khajiit has wears if you have coin kind of like weirdness.
Oh my gosh. What have they done?
It's like it's got stuck mistransforming into a werewolf or something.
They're supposed to have like long necks, like long limbs, and really like narrow foxtail like snake-like faces. That's why they're called snakes and foxes.
Like this guy was trying to transform into a werewolf, but he
Where's
was
the
a
snake
ginger
bit?
and he got stuck. I'd never seen a ginger werewolf before. It was kind of unique.
Well, at least gingers are getting representation, right? There you go. What can I say? I do. If you want, one of my white cloak buddies, Will, gave me a 2 truths and a lie. If you want to try it out,
Yeah,
Maybe,
I was just gonna say,
let me
I
know
can
if you want to
understand
try.
why they live in a tower with no doors if they look like that. Because I too would be a recluse.
Mm.
I can't believe
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, could you imagine
Like-
being a ginger? I mean, come on.
it's like they've approached the story, and on every turn they think, how can we make this more dumb?
Yeah.
Like the setup was really easy and logical in the books, where Matt sees Moraine go through the door because Moraine needs to ask them questions, and that's how he decides to follow because, well, this is interesting. Then that's how he learns what the function of these doors are essentially, and that's why he recognizes the door when he's at Roidion, because he wants to revisit them because he thinks he got cheated out of his answers. All right. And so that's just completely ignored, and he just randomly stumbles into it like a moron. Great job. Great job.
Well, you want to know what else is great? They take all of his memories away, so he comes out an idiot.
Wait, all?
Well, I mean, like most of his memory, like he comes out and he doesn't know things. It's not like pieces of his memory that are filled in. Like in the show, he's like got these memories of like, I forget what it is, but they take all of his memories away, and he's forgotten like people's names and shit.
Because all right,
That's
so what
because
happens
they
in the-
couldn't write something that was essentially they didn't know how to write only part of his memory is gone, and so it's easier if he just doesn't know who they are.
Yeah,
and part of his memory was gone before he went into the doors, because it was the byproduct of the curse of the dagger. And when he recovers from the dagger, he's lost portions of his memory, and then he asks the Aelfin or Eilfin to fill in his missing memories, and they fill it in with memories of his ancestors who fought in all these great battles, and he can then suddenly draw on all the battle experience of these great generals, and he becomes the greatest general tactician in all the land. It's brilliant. This is like not.
Yeah, he asked.
Does he start gambling by season 3? Because I haven't seen him do that in 2 seasons.
You know what? I don't think he does any. I think there might be mention of him gambling, but I don't think we see him gambling. If we do, it's not enough that it's memorable, so it's not brought up to be. I think it's mentioned that he lost some money gambling. To be honest, I don't recall. It's not a major plot point, which should tell you everything you need to know, right?
Well, that's just another kind of discussion right there, that the absolute disaster that they made out of Matt's character. Matt is one of the most popular characters, arguably is more popular than Rand, the main character, for how important he is, but also how just fun Matt is as a character. And what they did in the show to Matt is unforgivable.
Well,
he is like...
they're Matt. Oh, it's because so they have the Matt brothers fight. The Gawain Galad.
Yeah. Where he defeats them. He's supposed to defeat them with his quarterstaff.
So they say the fight is a complete joke, but part of the it's bad. You should watch that for a fight autopsy, because I do some of that on my own, not as good as you, but we do it. It's really, really, really bad. But one of the reasons is there's friction between the brothers and Matt, because the brothers Gawain and Galad are getting more pussy than Matt is. Matt can't get any poontang because the brothers are in town, like getting everybody, and Matt is just sitting in his room listening to two brothers, get it on with everybody around. So Matt hates them because they're better at having sexy time than he is.
Frig, of course, that it just makes Matt look like a bigger douchebag than they've already depicted him in the 100%. Friggin' show. I can't stand this. And one of the things that they actively wanted to inject into this Wheel of Time adaptation was a complete subversion of not only traditional relationships, but Rafe literally is on record saying that he wanted to explore polyamory or basically open relationships where everyone is having sex with everyone. So instead of 3 women falling in love with Rand and Rand not being able to pick between them and the 3 women loving him so much that they agree that they can, basically share in it, which is not out of the ordinary in this world because the world does have polygamy relationships with the Aiel, okay? And one of the women is an Aiel and she's like, well, we can be sister wives. That's kind of how she proposes it, right? But
which
now
Rafe thinks is marriage. Like actual romantic marriage is the way he's taken that to mean.
Did he want to make the Wheel of Time, or did he want to make the porn parody? It kind of feels like
porn parody.
the
Porn parody. Yeah, that's what he did.
There was an article I read yesterday where he said most people in the universe are LGB.
Yep.
And he then gave a quote of Jordan saying that 50% of the world were, and I'm like, I don't believe that. He did that for a second.
No,
if he did,
that work?
it was only because he thought women getting with other women was interesting. That would be the only reason why what he meant with that quote.
Well, look, Rafe is he's a liar. It's well documented. He just makes up stats that he wants to be true. He's just a flat out liar. So I don't believe any stat he throws out.
Well, is this the season where they get either some of the girls that are supposed to be in love with Rand to either love each other or get it on with each other?
So, so Elaine and Avienda hook up and have sex, and they're in love with
of course.
Elaine and Avienda, instead of being interested in Rand, they're interested in each other to the point where they do kiss on screen, and they start dreaming about each other and having sexual thoughts about each other.
Sexy times in dreams.
Yep.
Rafe said that rather than all of those people just being married to Rand and Rand gets with each of them, but they don't get with each other, they were always going to do it where they all get off with everyone. And he was also going to introduce them getting with people outside of that relationship.
A friggin' course.
So it was just a free-for-all, essentially.
Yeah, it's the whole Hollywood degenerate open relationships bullcrap where they want to try and either normalize or cope with the fact that they are degenerates, and they want to try and normalize their lifestyles by saying, oh, look, hey, this is acceptable and stuff like that. When it was taboo enough in the Wheel of Time books that more than one woman was in love with Rand. Like Nynaeve thought they were scandalous beyond.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you mean, Rand? You lecherous? See, Rand felt terrible. If Rand felt legitimately terrible that he couldn't commit to one woman.
Yep.
But of course, throw that out the window.
That's the interesting part, though, because Rafe takes on the bit that, oh, well, this is a whole world with loads of different cultures from all around the world that all believe different things. Isn't that interesting? But then he makes them all exactly the same, and he intermingles them all. Whereas 100%. In the books, they all were separate with their own different beliefs. So you would have places where it's like, well, yeah, we all get off with each other, that's fine. And then you'd have another one where it's like, if you weren't married at 18, you were a slag.
Well, I mean, and Rand kept sending them away, and they kept going, no.
Yeah,
he kept sending them away because he felt terrible. Yeah.
It's the interplay of those ideas that make the story interesting and make the interactions between all these friends interesting. If you just make everybody the same, well, now it's just a grey mush. He did say at one point he was never going to have homophobia in the TV show because this is a fantasy book, and so it can be anything he wants it to be, so he's going to make it his perfect world. And it's like, well, now you've removed any kind of interesting conversation that could have happened by having two people meet with different views.
Yeah, I unironically, the Wheel of Time TV show is Rafe Judkins' gay fan fiction. That's what that is what he wanted to turn it into, and he loaded it all in that purely based on his own sexual kind of attractions, right? Yeah. And for stuff, the actual meaning of the plot and story, like the innocence of the people from Emmonsfield, is really important because they go out into the world and they have to learn how to be adults, and everything is crazy new to them. And the boys learning how to deal with women and get in relationships is such a charming aspect of the story. Yet in the TV show, the boys, they're just having sex with everyone at the beginning.
Well, there's the joke throughout of, oh, I wish Rand was here. He knows how to deal with women. And then parents saying, I wish Matt was here. He knows. All three of the boys are like, I wish the other was here. I don't know how to deal with girls. No innocence.
It was a great part of the books. And again, bastardized because they wanted open sex everywhere, and sex is great, and everyone having sex with people in other relationships, all this crap. Right?
I remember there was a script leaked for the start of episode 1, and I don't know whether it was ever confirmed. But I really hope it's true.
I know where you're going. This one is confirmed. I'm pretty sure. Are you talking about?
Well, because it said the show started with
yes,
because I think even this show started with them getting it on in the bar.
Yep,
and it was supposed to zoom in down her body.
Yep,
and the entire thing was supposed to focus on her reactions because he was just there to do everything for her. Yeah, and he wasn't even supposed to enjoy it or anything. It was all supposed to be her taking advantage of him.
Only focused on the woman's pleasure. So what it was Matt. It was supposed to be Matt, I believe, getting it on with someone, and they didn't put this in the show, but this shows the extent, the extremity of what they wanted to push this to. They wanted a woman's legs wrapped around Matt's head and him going to town on her, and it only focused on and they specifically has a line in this pre-script that it focuses on the woman's pleasure specifically, because it's all about the woman getting off and the man being the pathetic,
essentially a tool in that scene.
And
by the way, and that is a primary character, one of the heroes of the story, Matt, being totally denigrated and just bastardized for their own sexual kinks. That's the extent of what they were willing to do with this adaptation.
And then there's the finger banging of Egwene by Rand in episode 1 that was supposed to be happening. So
I didn't know that bit. That was really weird, though. I remember at the start of the series, she dumped him. And then for the next 2 episodes, we had her going back to him and being like, "Why don't you like me anymore?" Yeah, and I'm like, "You dumped him." What is happening?
Oh my god. So Matt, I mean, that's the episode or season 3 starts with Matt walking around Tar Valon with the Horn of Valere, going, I have the Horn of Valere.
Are you freaking? Are you?
No, I was freaking out. So did you watch the end? So you watched the end of season 2, right, Shad? So you have the ghost shoves the horn up her butt. So you're like, where did the horn go? So the beginning of of season 3, Matt and Rand and Perrin are in Tar Valon. So the Dragon Reborn and the Horn Sounder are in Tar Valon. Matt has the Horn of Valere in his hand. There is an artist taking a sketch of Matt with the Horn of Valere, and Matt goes, yes, I am the Horn Sounder. I have blown the Horn of Valere. And it's what is happening?
Yeah. If people do not realize, if people haven't read the books, okay, if knowledge that the Horn of Valere had been found, right, at any point before the last battle, it would have caused civil war and global disaster of people fighting over that thing, right?
It wasn't even just that.
Yeah, remember, the Forsaken would have let loose and it released hellfire and brimstone to get that thing. It had to be kept a secret beyond.
No, but Matt is self-interested. He's very self-preservation, and only one person can blow the Horn of Valere. So if they want to control it, they have to kill you before they can control it. Yes. And you are putting a big target on your head by going, "I'm the guy."
And so that's him committing suicide by saying, "I've got the horn, everyone," because they would all be after they would not only be like a massive worldwide war over that thing, everyone would be trying to kill him so that they could be the next blower of the horn.
Oh no! I just remembered where the horn was in season 1. It was under that guy's throne.
Yes, it was under Agomar's throne. Yes, it was just under there. They knew it was there the whole time. Yes. Yeah, it was just kicking it. He had it. It's like, no big deal. Hey guys, get the Horn of Valere. It's under my seat. Don't worry.
Again, For people who don't know, the Horn of Valere is this incredibly powerful magical artifact that if you blow the horn, you will summon an army of ancient dead heroes in spirit form who can just basically destroy any battle at all. And it is absolutely essential that that horn is used at the final battle, the last battle against the Dark One. But the fear is that the Dark Ones, either Forsaken, could get a hold of the horn, and whoever blows it, the army will serve. And so they're not sure if evil people get it, that if they blow it, the army will serve them. It is a world like destroying capable artifact and weapon of incredible significance and importance. And Matt is just waltzing around a friggin' street saying, I've got the bloody horn. I
shared an image with you there. There you go.
I can't believe this. By the way, the horn looks like a retarded seashell.
It looks like one of those water sack things.
Yeah, it looks like it looks
it's like they haven't read the books. They haven't freaking read the books. I was saying this multiple times in my reviews of season 1 and 2, and season 3 is the friggin' same. These people do not know this source material at all, and even in the context of the show, this is retarded. Okay, because even the show establishes how important the horn is, and they have him just walking around friggin' straight holding the bloody thing.
Yeah, that's him. That's him in the corner, just sprouting off about being the horn sounder. Yeah, it's wild. So he ends up giving it to Suwan. So because Suwan guilt trips him, but yeah, Matt ends up, his demise is basically, the ending for Matt is he goes to the Finn to the cosplay. Whatever that is, the extra from Cats. He goes to the extra from Cats, and they do some stuff in there that's not great. And then he is sent out, and he is hanging from a new Eshendari because the fake one that he made out of the bedpost in the Shadowloga dagger. That never shows up again. It's gone. It's just gone. So he's hanging from the door.
Oh, by the way, the Shadow Logar tag, I forgot the lightsaber dagger that can melt friggin' steel.
Yeah, that's just gone. They don't explain it. The red hilt, the dagger, gone. So he's hanging, and Min, of course, comes and chops him down and CPRs him back to life. And then of course, Min and Matt have sexy time on a boat. So they're together.
Of course. That's such a bastardization, because Min and Matt never had a relationship in the books. Min was always, she knew that she was in love with Rand when she first met him because of the visions.
Yep. Yeah, she knew they were fated, essentially.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, fated. Yep.
And so she was always obsessed with Rand to either find out, am I going to fall in love with this guy? And of course, she against her will, she does, but she isn't interested in any other guy throughout so many things because she knows that there's this connection between her and Rand.
Yeah.
And also, when you say against her will, for people that don't know the books, he means unintentionally.
Yeah.
Especially with all the stuff we said about Rafe, that he couldn't put that into the show.
He would really like that.
We've seen Star Wars.
This genuinely goes beyond, the director's barely disguised sexual fetish. Like, the opening with Monty Python where featuring the director's barely disguised fetish or something like that.
Oh, did they ever get to the...
This is blatant on display that you can't miss it.
Did they ever get to the bit in with Matt where, I can't remember her name, the Empress from across the sea?
No.
Okay.
No, there was no Shan Chan in season 3 at all.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
No Shan Chan.
But they arrived at the end of season 2.
No Shan Chan. Zero. They forgot about him. They forgot they were there. Yeah. They apparently nuked them all with Moraine. Moraine nuked them all with her cruise missile weave on the boats. They're all dead. Apparently. Yeah. Apparently.
Oh yeah, Chuon, because I was interested to see how they'd handle that when Chuon takes Matt against his will. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know whether you're going to cut that out, because you'd be like, well, we can't.
Oh, they would love it. I reckon they would go further with that. So in the book, there is a moment where effectively, a guy gets raped, but it's really a power imbalance because it's a queen who's obsessed with a character, and she does hold like a dagger to his throat, and there's a womanized.
Matt is not pleased with that. It does actually affect him afterwards. It does. This isn't he was probably up for it, but no.
he felt emasculated, and like his manliness was kind of dead. But the thing is, though, he does actually end up caring for it, even though she but then he goes through a pretty elaborate thing to escape her as well. Like he tries to run away, which he does ultimately succeed at. But you know that they would certainly
well, that's the thing, because
that
you have the simultaneous thing of it would show her in a position of power which they're not against, but also it would make her look bad. And I do think they would probably come up with something along the lines of
exactly.
Well, he enjoyed it.
They don't want the women to look bad. Yeah. Now, the reason why I said effectively, because the woman doesn't have the power to just force him down and hold there, but she uses her power and influence as queen that says like, I could order your death in case you, if you don't, get it on with me, basically. But it is rape. It is actual rape in the book, and it does look bad for her as well. So you're right, Disbury. They'll probably try and gloss that over, because that was because the left hate the idea that men can actually be victims of sexual assault. They try and ignore it, and
well, it's not just that; it's the entire societies. Like in the UK, there's no law against it. Like it's physically impossible too. There's no law against forced envelopment. It would just be SA essentially. Yeah,
and so it's actually an interesting thing that the book series does kind of explore that men can be sexually assaulted, raped, but the world likes to ignore, men being abused by women. That can't happen. Men are only the abusers in the world, and that goes to the quality of the book, because the book shows in multiple times men getting abused by women and the women looking bad, and the context of the book is yes, this was wrong that the women were doing this, because one of the things that the book shows is that women have a lot of power in the books, and guess what? Women are just as likely to abuse power as anyone else, and so there's a lot of evil women who misuse power in the book.
Yes,
all right,
a lot. Yeah,
some would say more likely.
Yeah.
Well, no, they did do the maths of male leaders versus female leaders, and women cause more wars. There's been far more wars when women are in leadership, time for time.
No, if you look at the statistics, there is an actual underlying reality of that. And this is obviously based on percentages, because overall there's been fewer women leaders in the past. But
probably because they kept declaring war on people.
There are other statistics that play that out. Like women police officers are far more likely to draw a gun and shoot someone legally dead.
That makes far more sense, because you have no ability to de-escalate, so you immediately have to maximum escalate it to try and take it down as fast as possible. And you're also far more scared, because if you lose control of the situation, it's over.
It's over, because most women are completely incapable of incapacitating a man through just non-lethal physical force, and so they instantly have to escalate it. And so female police officers actually cause statistically far more deaths than male police officers. All right,
I'm surprised about the Wheel of Time not wanting to show women as quote unquote bad, because I could see a woke person writing like a woman trying to abuse a man and essentially raping a man, and then but framing it as a "you go girl" moment.
Yeah,
you mean like in Wonder Woman, like
in Wonder Woman, yeah, exactly.
Wonder Woman.
They might have tried. That is one of the things. It depends how they think would be essentially more powerful for them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, they did that whole experiment of like they had like a man kind of yelling at a woman in the public park, and like he's not hitting her, just yelling at her, and then people are like, oh, he's in the wrong, and so they did the opposite way, where the woman is actually
hitting the guy.
Yeah, and she's abusing him and everything, and all the women who see that happening are like, "You go, girl!" Yeah, do that little "you go, girl" motion.
Yep. So Lit Dev is actually referring to an actual social experiment. It was even on a TV show I saw this, where they did that, and people cheered on women physically assaulting men in it. All right, so getting back to the Wheel of Time, you're saying
my searches are not just based on conjecture and hate. I actually have cited sources.
Well, it's also like obvious why that happens, and it's because the idea is if the guy wanted to stop her at any point, he could, and so there's no need to leap to his defense, because he could just stop it instantaneously, so he can't be in that much threat.
Yep. So the season 3 culminates in a battle between Moraine and Lanfear, of course.
Correct.
because in the event that's supposed to happen in the book, Rand is fighting over the greatest Turangriel? The most powerful.
It's the access key to the greatest sound girl.
The access, and basically this gives magic users almost limitless power that they could melt the continent with these things. They're so crazy powerful.
Challenge the Dark One is
he could challenge the Dark One himself with it, right? And so a Forsaken was hidden in part of Rand's retinue and is trying to get it, and it ends up that they're both fighting over the access key in the events, and the entire world starts to shake, and it's this massive epic moment. So it turns out they're going to subvert that, and it's going to be a battle between Moraine, the true main character of this TV show, and Lanfear.
Yep. No, Rand basically is sitting there yelling in their Choden call, the Golden Bowl, you know, the amphitheater for the Aiel, supposed to be speaking to the Aiel Nation. Him and Couladin are having their little like debate, which is totally sad and pathetic. The dragon tattoos, I don't know if you saw them, they look horrible. They're disgusting. But basically Rand's just yelling and screaming like and then he makes it like rain. He starts going makes it rain, and then Egwene tells him to stop, and that's it, because he's making it rain too much. Meanwhile Moraine and Lanfear are fighting. Lan tries to get her with the sword that, you know, with the MacGuffin 1-power sword, because that's supposed to kill people. Lan, of course, gets flicked off like he's nothing because, well, he's Lan. And Moraine gets
greatest. Lan, by the way, Lan is like the greatest swordsman in this world. Like he gets tested in the ultimate fight, and he comes out as basically, okay, so Lan is the greatest swordsman in this world.
Lan is a supreme badass. Yeah, so he's just flicked off like nothing. Lanfear ends up picking up the sword and stabbing Moraine through the chest, like through the stomach. And then I forget, she sword hands it, ends up getting it, and slices her in the neck because she starts using the 2-power or something. And then she ends up escaping, and Moraine's alive because, well, she can't die. And then that's it. She feels Suan die because Suan dies at the same minute. So she gets since Suan, and so this is. My hypothesis is that since Suan and Moraine were actually bonded, I think they bonded each other instead of probably. So she felt the warder bond, and she went crazy, and she stabbed. You know, and there you go. So that was the big. That was the big ultimate fight.
We got a comment from Forsaken.
Rafe has said that their relationship will continue through the ages, even after death. And what he's essentially saying is the pattern spins them out every time, and they always get back into a relationship with each other.
Of course you'd do that. There's a comment that says, Avienda beats Rand in a duel, of course, because she's got women power, and then fights Lan to a stalemate.
True.
I mean, at the start, Avienda probably could have beaten Rand because he was not a great fighter at the start, I think.
No. By the time they meet, Rand is a swordmaster because he defeats the Shonchan, who's swordmaster.
Oh yeah, but he defeated him largely by luck and being willing to sheath the sword.
He has the sword. Whether he has the title is always one of those things. And eventually, he does end up beating a genuine swordmaster. So the land does say that you are actually blade. That's later though, but
he goes away and trains for a long time. But I think when they first meet, Avienda probably has way more experience.
Avienda could have beat Rand, maybe. But
I think that's up for debate.
Maybe. But Lan should. Lan's no.
Oh no, not Lan. Lan would have
There's no hope. No.
Well, the only reason she doesn't beat him is they stop her and say, "You have to go. You have to go do your wise woman stuff. Stop fighting like an idiot." And they're like,
and that fight where Rand actually, supposed to defeat that Blade Master, he just channeled and blew them up. And again, a great moment in the books that they destroyed
wasted
in this TV show adaptation. And everything that you're telling us, Steve, is just like, holy crap! This show, it's exactly what you would expect what they did from what we saw in season 1 and 2. It's exactly the same thing of what people like this would make. And some of these things you're saying, it just boggles my mind.
It's terrible.
They ruin everything. Like the Aiel themselves by just making they're like, they live in a desert. well, so obviously they're black and have dreads. I'm like,
Yeah.
no. Do you not know where they come from? They can't look like that. You ruin their entire foundational story.
But Disparate, what's crazy is half of them look right, half of them don't. Like Avienda is the only one that is black with dreads.
What?
How
did that happen? Because they're sectioned off from the rest of society.
Most of them are Norwegian.
A single gene pool. They can't mix with other places.
But most of them actually look like the women they cast as Bane and Shad. They're like Norwegians with like some of them have red hair, but others have
that would make sense.
She's the only one that looks the way she does. There's a few other ones mixed in that look like that, but the mass majority of the IO that are cast are like white redheads.
That's what they're supposed to be. Like,
yeah.
Who are her parents then? I need to know. This is confusing me even more. What's happened to the genetic line?
Yeah. Well, and I swear there's one part where Cold Rock's Hold, the first place they go to, is a reused set from Rings of Power when they're in the desert there. I swear it's that same place.
I wouldn't put it past them, man.
I swear.
And what's hilarious about this, again, the whole narrative is that season 3 is really good. It's like it's because no one's watching it, and the only ones left watching it are simps who will glaze it to heaven. It sounds like this is a disaster.
How was Elaine? Because she seemed to be a good casting.
Like one of the only good castings.
Yeah. So her story ends by her. Okay, so she has.
I mean, like the actress and her performance, because she seemed like visually casting.
It was okay for me. It was probably the best out of the group for me, but it wasn't. They had more gays come in, and she looked weird, and it wasn't as good as initially thought. But I think she's probably the best out of the group. I know a lot of people in my circle give her shit. They don't like her, but I don't mind Elaine so much. But she's made worse by the shit that they've given her to do.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like it's hard to focus on that for me. I mean, they've made her look visually worse too, in my opinion.
I'm looking at the pictures. Goes on. Yes, they have.
Her outfits are all terrible. She has this weird Hills of Tanchico song, which we were all laughing, going, "Oh, are the Hills of Tanchico tits?" And guess what? They are tits. So like she's singing the song, and everybody's sitting there playing with their tits. It's crazy.
More gays massacres children.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
So
what?
Yes. Oh yeah. So hey, what? There's only so much, Shad. It's all terrible. What do you want?
We keep asking him questions. Should we play the game first because we might be finding out his truth.
Okay. Well, so I think you asked the question that. I'll add. So here's the 3 that I was given. Varen's sister ends up retarded and plays a vital part in Suwan's deposition. Rand, so that's 1. Rand and Avienda bone and sweat tent and get caught by Amis. And 3 is Matt flirts with a man and gets the male ADOM bracelet. Which 2 are fake? Which one's real?
I hope the last one's fake. I'm just saying that out of desperation. I even think it's real, but I hope it's fake.
Either one, any of them could be real. It's really hard to pick. I'll go with the last one because it makes it more gay, and that's what the showrunner would do.
So the real one is, or the fake one is Avienda and Rand Bone.
That was the one I thought was definitely true.
It's not true. So that one's fake.
I was right about the other one.
So Varen's sister ends up retarded and plays a vital role in Suwan's disposition is real, and Matt flirts with a man to get a male ADOM bracelet is also real.
Yep. And look, you can use the gay radar to figure out what is real. Whatever makes the show more gay is what they would have picked, because that's what their intent. They wanted to make this more LGBT, all the stuff.
Hold on. So I have to ask, you guys did not hear of the fake red wedding, the ghetto red wedding in season 3?
No. Is this when there's the attack in the White Tower? Or...
No. So this is a cold opening. That's more gays.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be her taking the fealty.
Hang on, more gays looks awful.
She looks terrible.
More gays is supposed to be one of.
Hold on.
Gays is supposed to be one of the most voluptuous, sexy older women, like middle-aged.
This is the good shot of her. This is the good shot of more gays.
This entire throne room, again, maybe it's just things matching your imagination, but the reason the throne room was set up that way is part of the game of houses was intimidation. You were supposed to feel inferior to the people above, like in front of you. It's supposed to be impressive. I always imagine like this long hallway with big, massive things leading up to a huge throne that like overpowered the entire room. And this is, well, you know, I'm a little bit higher than you.
Well, the lion throne is supposed to be epic. It's the friggin' lion throne.
Well, there's female lions don't look very. We had the lions even have to be female.
And it's a female lion on there.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a man in this room?
No. Yes, but don't worry. He's ordered to slit a little girl's throat. So.
Oh, that's why he's there.
So
they've made Morghese a psychopathic evil murderer.
So these are supposed to be this is their red wedding moment. So they're supposed to be swearing fealty after the Recession War. Morghese has won that we don't see in the books, right? So you know, in the past she took blah 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 blah. So this is the houses that were fighting against her supposed to be swearing fealty to her. So she's getting their fealty. Yeah, let me see if I can get there without playing.
And we can't show too much blood because YouTube will go. You know.
So she's of course pregnant with. Okay, so I'll stop it here.
Yeah. All right.
So she then orders them all to slit the king's or queen's throats, and this is the first woman to go. The man, her brother, kills her.
This is just low IQ. That's what this is. The game of houses was supposed to be nuanced. It was about subtext. Everybody knew the game, and so people were looking for hidden messages deliberately. And so it was all designed, even by like looks and glances, and now it's just stab him.
So so she's the queen of their house, and he's the prince or whatever. So to show fealty, she had the people that weren't in rule kill all the ones that were. And that's how she's like, I'm now queen. And wait, and you think that was bad? Let me. You think she looked bad there? Hold on. Let me just because I have to do it. I have to.
But this ruins, like, when she stops being queen, it ruins any point of that because her giving up the throne is a big point. But if she's just an evil ruler that goes around killing people, why would you care?
Yeah, who gives a crap? Like, I would hate this character throughout it. And Morghese, like, she ends up playing. She's still a minor character, but she does play a significant aspect of, especially when
she's supposed to be very cunning and very smart and rule smartly. That's Morghese.
What the hell?
Well, that's what cunning people do. Cunning people just kill everyone they don't like. It's
that's Morghese and Ravine.
That's how stupid people think clever people do politics. Oh, well, they just kill everyone. This is one of the reasons I never got into Game of Thrones. It would always seem to be just stupid people leading things, doing stupid, like, none of the politics actually were that complicated if you followed it. And the thing was, the Wheel of Time was meant to be in between, essentially, because Game of Thrones was inspired by the Game of Houses in Wheel of Time. It was in between Rings of Power. It was in between Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. So you still had like the morality of Lord of the Rings, but also the political side and the fighting across nations and stuff that you had in Game of Thrones. And instead they've been like, nah.
That's Ravine too, by the way. That's Ravine.
Really? That's Ravine.
And they're in Tarvalin.
Yeah. Look, I wouldn't say he's the worst Ravine, but I imagine Ravine taller and more imposing.
Well, they're in. He's in Tarvalin. Morghese and Ravine have come to Tarvalin just to talk to. It's like they never went to Camelin. They never went to Camelin once.
Oh my gosh!
But and the Aes Sedai sent people to you because they always wanted a hand on the throne.
Yeah,
like they didn't demand leaders went to them all the time.
Well, there's Elida behind them right there, right? So you know.
Yeah, and the actress of Elida, she's a good actress. Yep. I enjoyed her in The Expanse and stuff like that. And I think she could make an okay Elida. It's one of those border castings. It's nowhere near as bad as like Min or anyone like that. But I always pictured more. What's her name? Elida. To being more stern, more Eastern European maybe looking, with kind of like it's not. There's some good artwork of what Elida should look like, and she doesn't match. Not great.
Agreed.
Oh my gosh. And this is the season that's better, everyone. Like,
well, every time they say one season's better, they shit all over the others previous season. So it's like season 2 was really not good, but season 3 is so much better. It's like, why are you doing that?
Rafe used to do that.
Yeah.
It's season 1. Oh no, obviously it's very important to stick to the books. After season 1 was over, oh, well, obviously we couldn't adapt that because we had to fit so much into it, it wasn't right. So season 2, that's going to be close to the books. Now, oh no, season 3 is going to be close to the books, but season 2, we just couldn't. We had to squash it down. Like, it was the same excuse every time.
Season 3, from the plot that I'm piecing together, they are condensing so much and just subverting and like, this seems to be the most inaccurate season to the books out of them all by far.
It's wildly bad. They actually... See, episode 4, there's actually maybe about 15, 20, maybe 20 to 30 minutes of actual stuff that Rand's journey through the past, learning about the Aiel and his connection to it is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So there's like maybe a 30-minute chunk in episode 4 that's actually pretty good. Yeah. The rest of it is just nonsense.
The great tragedy of all this, well, look, it is a time of celebration that this dumpster fire is being cancelled, because like just what we've been seeing from season 3 is just further insult to a great book series where they are subverting and destroying so much, and literally like painting the opposite message of what the books have, where this isn't about men and women needing to learn how to get together and work together to save the world. This is all about women empowerment, feminism, and sexual fetishes and all that stuff, right? Nothing truly wholesome. There's no actual positive masculinity, which the books like foundationally have positive masculinity baked into it, right? And so this show is an abomination and travesty that any further season that they make based on this continuity is just an abomination and an insult. And it is a good thing that this vile thing, right, is cancelled. We are celebrating that it is now done and dead. It got what it deserved, okay? The fans abandoned this thing very early on, and there was barely any audience left. And the cope that they tried to spin, that's, there's still lots of people liking it. Sad that it's canceled. The reason why it got canceled, because no one was really watching it. It didn't have a big audience, okay? And this is the type of project, it's a vanity project that they would have loved to have kept going, okay? Because it's the prestige, but no one was really watching it. That's why. And why wasn't anyone watching it? Because it sucked. And it was like terrible, terrible show.
Yeah, what I was telling you is just the tiniest
tip of the iceberg. And Prophet of the Dragon, his YouTube channel, you've got live streams and episodes breakdown. So if people want more information, they can check your workout, because I was done. It was too painful. I could not cover it.
Completely
season
get it.
3. And from what you're telling me, it would have broken my brain, dude.
Yes, because it is that, like, it's shocking. It's shocking, and then like that's why. Big part of why I hung out and why it was always nice to see your guys' takes on it, because you always, when you're watching these things, you think you're nuts and you're like, am I the only one that's like, this is 2 + 2 is not equal 4? It's like,
and you're wondering, why are people praising this?
Exactly. And it's like it's like, how are people liking this? It doesn't, like, I think that's the biggest the biggest failure of this show and many shows right now. It's not just that they don't follow the continuity, or they don't follow the thing that they're saying they're going to be doing. The shows just suck. So they're not even telling. They're saying you're telling the Wheel of Time. You're not doing that, but even the story you are telling is still garbage.
To that point, I remember season 1, episode 1. I put my video out and then started looking for reviews, and every single review I got was positive. And I felt like I was going insane. But then I started getting comments on my video going, I'm so glad you've said this, because I felt like I was going insane. And I'm like, yeah, it's me too. And there was kind of like a bonding session in the comments. Just people like, at least we found other people that agree. And I still remember the week that I found Shad's review, which was the first one that I found that was negative. That same week was the one I started binging all your things when I found out you didn't like the show as well. So I started from that. And then when I got to the most recent one, that's the one you shouted me out in that video. So I found you the same week you shouted me out.
Well, yeah, I found you guys the same reason. The White Cloaks, man, those guys were doing the Lord's work in that Reddit, and then they shut it down, and their channel, they just got over 1,000 over there, so it's criminally small over there. So, but love those guys. We I've met so many good people. It
brings people together.
I found so many cool people, and it's just like
there's a silver lining in the dark times that we're going through, is that we find like-minded companions to help us get through these dark times. And so look, it is great to see this piece of crap get what it deserves, cancelled. It will be forgotten. Like this will not last in memory, apart from a cautionary tale of how bad it was. There's going to be no lasting positive reflection on this piece of crap. And there is a tragic aspect to this, and that's for the people who actually wanted to see a good Wheel of Time adaptation. I'm not sure we'll ever see one now.
I've seen tweets very recently of people going, yeah, but it needs to continue because it's the last adaptation it will ever have.
Yes.
They say this is the only way the story will survive. It's the only way it'll ever get new viewers.
It's not the story. So
exactly. It's not Wheel of Time, so it doesn't matter if it continues.
Yeah, it deserves to die.
It's the porn parody of Wheel of Time. It's not the
yes.
Yes.
Wait, but that's not fair to that's not fair to the porn parody. Come on, they can do better than that.
Yeah. Axel would have at least cast attractive people.
Well, that's not one thing.
Well, it's good for furries. I mean, furries.
Wheel of Time. No, the characters of Wheel of Time are meant to be attractive, quite attractive, actually.
Highly attractive, yes.
And even the Aes Sedai are supposed to be good looking.
Robert Jordan knew what he liked.
Yes, he did.
And this is my favorite. Like a lot of the criticism about Wheel of Time is, I can't believe that this is like so heterosexual, and all these people are doing this. And it's like, that would have got you viewers if you. This is all good stuff for television. You should have learned this from Game of Thrones.
There are moments in Wheel of Time that has nudity that's actually kind of tastefully done, but it also gives, like, if the creators wanted to try and make a Game of Thrones to have some measure of, Wheel of Time doesn't have cheap titillation, but that's what Game of Thrones did for a lot of audience.
We're just entering a sweat tent to talk about stuff while we show our top.
That's a cultural thing. That's a
absolutely for no reason. People just get stalkers in that book series.
Look, okay, you got me there. I think of Rand's dream sequences, whereas in his dream, and Elaine and Egwene just take off their kid and turn it up.
There's plenty of places they could have done stuff if they wanted to. That's not what they did. Yeah.
Well,
that is another thing. Oh, we're going to do an Aes Sedai test. What's the first thing? Just take your kit off, love.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Well, your clothes might interfere with the magic.
The Aes Sedai rituals literally have all the women taking off their tops and to say, "Look, I am a woman. This is a womanly ritual."
This is good. It's only very recently that people are, you can't have that. It's like, why? This would get you viewers. You should need to put this back.
The thing is, though, they took that out of the TV show adaptation, except for the men. They went out of their way and invented more scenes of the men.
No, I was mentally scarred when, after they'd aged up all the Aes Sedai, they started showing them in a sauna or whatever it was. For absolutely no reason whatsoever. Nobody wanted to see that.
Nobody wants to see that.
Rosamund Pike and freaking Lan in a tub. Oh, please. No.
Well, no, there was also talking to the Aes Sedai.
Yes, the boy-looking one. Yeah. Oh, God. Nightmares.
They weren't trying to court a traditional audience, which is like the mainstream audience. They were trying to. This was a Rafe Judkins LGBT fan fiction of Wheel of Time. That's all it was.
Well, I remember after that scene during your review. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was when you were doing the 3-man reviews. So you can tell the show was made by a gay man.
Yep. Yeah. It's the signs are everywhere in this show. If you went in blind, you would be thinking this is pretty gay.
Well, it wasn't even that. It's like I would not be surprised if it was like, no, these women are all attractive. It was like, maybe you're not the best judge.
You're probably not. Oh my gosh! And so, Yeah, I don't think we'll ever see now a good Wheel of Time adaptation, because this show is going to, it's tainted the franchise, which is a tragedy. The Wheel of Time book series is great, and it could have made one of the best TV shows ever made.
Yeah.
That's what they had that they could have done with this, but you know, ideological subversion got the better of them. It came out like it was being produced in kind of the worst time you could, where it had the, you know, all the, you know, institutions of creativity had the was being co-opted by woke ideological activists. And look, I can't say, maybe in 10 years.
Yeah,
I've been
saying 10, 5, like as a fool's
I
hope.
more than 5.
Yeah, I think it's definitely 10 is probably our best chance, and that's still like fool's hope, coping, hopium, because it's like, you know, it's like what Andor goes up against with Star Wars. Nobody watches it because it's Star Wars, and Star Wars is so damaged that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if a new thing comes out, is there going to be any hype for another adaptation?
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to be worried that they're going to destroy it like the last one.
Exactly.
Well, what's happened is you've got a lot of money was thrown at it by Amazon, one of the biggest producers that can take the loss, and so they will just see economic failure. The audience didn't turn up. Which is one of the reasons they use these brands, because it's never the writer's fault. They just say the audience didn't turn up. It's the IP's fault.
Yeah, which is just bullcrap. The audience, the built-in audience was so excited for this thing.
You can see the first chart that I use a lot. It just first 3 episodes, a lot of people turned out, a lot, and then from those 3 episodes went off a cliff, and they never came back.
Yep. And that's where we are at. But look, hey, we still got the books. The books are great.
Yep.
I finished reading through the entire series recently, and it holds up, man. It's still brilliant. I love it.
You know why it holds up? It's for the same reason as his 36-second meme. The TV series started with, and the men destroyed the world. That instantly would have put a load of viewers off, because like, oh, this again. And it wouldn't have even mattered if the rest of the show was good. They wouldn't have even got through the introduction, because they're so used to this stuff now.
100%.
Yep.
100% right.
Exactly that. And well, at least we got some measure of justice at the end. We'll have to see what happens in the future. But I actually kind of think the future of Wheel of Time, it sounds like the people have the rights. Are just they want to make video games, and nothing good is going to come of it. Like if Wheel of Time is ever going to get like a second life in new adaptation stuff like that, it's going to be fan made stuff, because AI is going in the direction where fans will be able to make some great stuff.
Yeah, I want aka Red Eagle. They've had they're the ones that made Winter Dragon, that prologue, you know, the attempted a prologue way back when. I don't know if you've seen Winter Dragon, but they've had the rights this whole time. They do this, they show up and say, hey, we're gonna make this thing and see if it gets any traction, and then they don't do it. So they have a track record of saying they're going to make things, saying they're going to do things, and then not doing it. It's like they came out and said they wanted to make a open world RPG game, but then they saw some interest came out, and they're like, oh well, if we do it, it's not going to be for the PlayStation, it won't be till PlayStation 6, maybe even PlayStation 7. So it's like, so you're not making it, right? So you know, there's also the Age of Legends movies trilogy that they said they're going to make, which they're not. And then the White Tower anime, which they said they're going to make, which they're not going to make. So I don't know why they have the IP, if they just are holding on to it. I don't know what for. The moment I see them sell it is the moment I get some hope that we might actually get a Wheel of Time thing.
Well, gee, it depends who buys it. And now, like I said, it's a tainted brand. Maybe some person, I don't think, like, who's going to be willing to throw as much money as they were willing to throw at this attempt, and it failed so badly. And you honestly, you don't even need huge budgets. I'm fine with bad effects. Just give me a good story, and I will show up.
You don't even have to have weaves, because we're not, as a viewer, supposed to be able to see them.
Yeah, we're not even supposed to see them. You're right. Yeah, 100%.
So you don't need most of the money in this production went to making the fake bad-looking weaves. Just don't just have us see them do it once, sort of like when
it's specifically a character showing, like, oh, that's what they look like
training or something, right? And like Discovery of Witches is I like how they did. I don't know if you saw that, but they do a weaving thing for their magic system. I like that. Just show them doing something like that once, and that's all you need.
Yeah. All righty. Well, let's start to get to the. We got some great super chats. Let's talk about those.
Can you just share my screen for a second? Because I kept hearing the it's been so well reviewed. It's amazing. 83%.
Yeah.
This is not a high ranking. That means 17% people thought it was less than a 5.
Well, they're also but also funny. You're right. They ignore the 83 for the most part, and they try to make you focus on the bot 97%. Yeah.
This is why I looked it up, because there was a video. It's like it's the highest rated fantasy series in 11 years.
They keep throwing it around.
83. I was like, that is not high rating.
Well, that was the big Forbes article. Was why is Amazon canceling a 97% liked? And it's like, why? Because if you look at the Nielsen ratings, the stuff that actually matters is it didn't even rank for 3 weeks.
No one
watched it. It couldn't.
It couldn't there that everyone just kind of like cut it off. Like all the fans saw it, went away, and just left, and then all the people left over like the show. Right, so they kind of was rated.
The Wheel of Time couldn't get #1 on Amazon's own top 10 list. It got to #1 maybe 1 week.
Yep, and it's because barely anyone is left even watching the show. And those that are left, they love it because it's their perfect kind of representation of things. And so they'll but that's not a broad audience. And all right, gentlemen, let's get to super chats. But Disparu, appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming and joining us.
I have a Doctor Who video to film.
Oh no. Good luck.
I came from Mobland to film Doctor Who on the stream. And I was like, oh no.
Mobland's great.
Yeah, I'm up to episode 5 now.
Oh, okay. You got some.
It's been really good so far.
Mobland's good. Yeah.
Oh. All right. Appreciate you.
I'll see you guys.
See you later, man.
All right, so Go for Broke for 499 says, "Hi Shad, I asked this like a month ago, but have you checked out the Japanese covers for Wheel of Time? Well, let's check them out right now." And yet they look great. Check it, like. Look at this. Gee, the characters, they kind of look at Rand here in this one. He's got the coat that is supposed to have, which reflects, the royal nature that gets Matt kind of annoyed. That looks like the crown of thorns right there.
They're very beautiful.
These are great. Check, look at Rand right there. Look at this Chad characters.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Japan. All right, guys. They know what's up. They know what's up. So yeah, 100% right there. Go for Broke. Appreciate you pointing me in those directions. They look great. Wally Yamuna, member for 25 months, says, "Greetings, Shad. Ooh, excuse me. Now, if Amazon also cancels Rings of Power, I'll get my subscription back. Side note, any plans to update intro to include Mike? I should update the intro. I just I don't have the time. I hope Rings of Power is next. But that one is a bigger, more prestige kind of property that Amazon would be reluctant to let go. So we will see.
An endless generation of memes. Like you get all kinds of memes from that thing.
Yeah. Now, Rings of Power is big enough that they're still interested enough that I want to be part of like the review and discussion. So I think I will be reviewing the next Rings of Power. Wheel of Time hit closer to home, hurt me more, and no one gave a crap. No one cared. I was actually like, that's when I could see that the death was right upon this show. When so little interest was even there to see the review, of me ripping it apart, right? Because even interest in my season 2 reviews was dropping off a lot. I was like, this is the death of a series. When apathy sets in and people don't even care to hate watch it, that's where I could see the victory already on the horizon with that, and it has come. And yep, sure enough, it's cancelled. Where Rings of Power, I'm not sure we're there yet, and so I still think it needs to be, called out and exposed. And I hope it gets what it is, because Rings of Power is a disaster as well, of course. Jeremy White for $2 says, "Hail the Lord Dragon, Hi Shah Monetherin, sir." Dan for $20 says, "It's probably too early for beers down under, but in celebration of our Prophet's moment in the sun, cheers, legends, #book cloak for life." Book cloaks for life. There you go.
Thanks, Alan.
There you go. And White Cloaks gifted 5 memberships. We appreciate you, White Cloaks. Senior John Justica for $2 says, how long did it take you to give up on the show? Well, we kind of mentioned it. End of season 2. Look, I gave up on the show, episode 5. But and if I was a viewer, I was like, nah, this thing is dead to me. I can't believe what they did. But the fact that I gave up even reviewing it says something, right? And that was end of season 2. That was 4. And Steve here is the one that's
well, no, it speaks a lot. There's many, Disbrew too. There's many people that noped out very early, but then it's just like, it's too much. I can't do it. Yeah.
And that's what I mean. That's when I was like, okay, I can see the end on the horizon. When apathy like this sets in, that's showing that no one gives a crap about this show. Season 3 came out. I didn't see barely anyone even mention it on Twitter, apart from maybe yourself.
Nobody. You're right. Nobody is. It's dead. Yeah. Dead show.
Dead. And that's exactly what led to this cancellation. And people say it's so great. Oh, it's got a passionate fan base. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, all 150,000 of them that signed that petition. Because, that's not even true either. How many times did each of them? This is also the campaign that told people to cancel your Amazon subscription and re-up it when the show came out. They were actively telling people to cancel. It's wild.
Yeah, that'll work. And I honestly believe a lot of these people signing the petitions that were protecting on Reddit and everything like that because of the diversity weren't even showing up to watch it. It's just like, it's on our side. It's on our side, so we got to protect it because it's got our representation in it. And they actually aren't fans of the property, not even 100%. Fantasy, and they don't even show up. And
I bet you the people who actually did follow through with that, with the whole, I'm going to cancel it and then reactivate it when the show comes back. No one did that. They might have said that they did for the points, and then, but no one's going to do that.
Yep,
no one did that.
It's stupid. Why? No, God, no. And if you are, you need to go get help because, good Lord.
There's people on that side that they will just glaze anything that has the right representation in, no matter how bad it is. We've seen it time and time again.
It's hard to imagine.
Michael Dune Eve. That's what I'm just going to go with that Dune Eve. For $5 says, did they really expect to adapt an entire series with so many books, doing basically one book per season? And if not, what was the point in starting? It was just a built-in audience, opportunity to ship our own narrative. They didn't care about the books. In fact, they actively dislike the books because it's problematic. They needed to be fixed for a modern audience, which certainly showed up to watch it because
the modern audience that totally exists.
Yeah,
real. That modern audience is as real as everyone's girlfriend from Canada and uncle who works at Nintendo.
Never cared. Yep, never planned it. Never cared. Yep, that's it.
Nick Demoted for $20 says, Rafe admitted he made changes for ideological reasons. 100%. He's on the record saying, of course, I'm going to be injecting my feminist beliefs into this show. Right? Lord Agumar is a key proof of this, where they, I believe, had him a stand-in for the patriarchy. So Lord Agumar was a stand-in for the patriarchy. All they had to do is change dialogue, and he would be closer to how he was in the books. Man, they ruined Agumar as well, of course. So many just. Yeah. And hey, the Nerdporial life form.
Nerdporial life form. Yeah, he's my buddy.
Nerdporial life form. Proud of you, Steve. You got your fans right here showing up, and it's great to have everyone here as well. And check out Prophet of the Dragon. He's been covering this stuff. He's been sticking in the trenches. So.
Barely made it. Barely made it.
Well, hey, dude, it was your petition that people are
playing. Yeah, exactly.
Take the win, man.
We did it. We did
it. And James Winterbottom, $5 says, I am glad this insult to Robert Jordan's life work is over. 100%. Worst part is due to this show. I will never get to see this amazing work on screen. I know that's the tragic side of it, as we mentioned.
100%. Yep.
ND Boat $2 says, stop watching when they killed Uno.
Which time?
That's right. That's freaking right, man. It's like, what are they doing? What are they doing? Oh. Techno Manarchist. for $10 says, I got banned from the Wheel of Time subreddit by pointing out that the show can't be a different turning because the metaphysics are all wrong. All women training men. They said it was misinformation. Laugh my ass off. Like, I hated that defense. This is another turning of the wheel. Like, can't be. You've literally broken how the magic works. It can only be a turning of the wheel if the underlying world buildings and mechanisms of this universe are intact, which they didn't do. And even if they were true to it, I still reject another turning of the wheel, a nonsense. Except perhaps now, you know, the greatest ending to season 3, they could actually make this canonical, right? If they just add this to end of season 3 with these lines: I win again, lose Theron.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Done. I accept it. And I'll let it be canon there.
As Parents' head comes off, I
win again, lose Theron. That means that this entire show was a subversion of the Dark One. And I'm like, I would believe that. This very much feels like the most perverted, evil warping of this universe that the greatest evil entity in existence would totally support and be behind as the cause for its creation.
It's a nightmare. Nightmare turning,
turning of the wheel. And so to make it canon, just add that to the end. I win again, lose Theron, and done and dusted. Problem solved.
100% agree. Let's do it. Yeah, 100%.
B Bash for $50. Thank you, man. Says some of the best comedy in the books are moments when a woman is so sure of herself. For instance, in the prequel, Moraine is trying to position herself to intimidate Lan, like a whole paragraph of building herself up, and he just tosses her into a lake. I know, I love it. There's so many good things in the books, man. And the books, again, they balance it well. They have great moments for both men and women, but guess what? The books also will make fun of the women. The women often will fail and be jokes, same as the men. It's a great, really well done, balanced series of how it handles gender and everything. But of course, that's not good enough. It needs. This Wheel of Time TV show is actually a really big point of evidence and proof that this feminist agenda that Rafe Judkins went out of his way to force into it shows that that agenda is not about equality. It's about supremacy. It's about treating men like garbage and elevating women even when they act evil and terrible, and just giving them all the control and the power. That's the ultimate feminist utopia that this show was wanting to depict. Okay, like that line of Swan when she was condemning Logain, like, this is my world and all that bull crap. That was just feminist propaganda trying to paint that that's what they want. They want this women in power domination thing where men get oppressed, and the punishment that she gave Logain was just so evil, where she wanted to torture him and torment him just forever, right? Because he was a man. It was just vile stuff. The show actively promoted evil ideology and philosophy as the thing that is right and proper. That's why I consider this show evil. It's a disgusting thing.
Yeah, well, openly murdering people and stuff too. So
Yep. Michael Steele, 5 Canadian, says, my favorite part of the books is when Nynaeve travels to the borderland to rally troops for Lan. Her speech is epic. Oh, isn't that great? Yeah,
so great.
There's so many great parts, and again, that is Moraine trying to save her husband, whom she loves and supports.
That's one of the ones. You have these moments when you hear they're making a show. It's like I was looking so forward to that moment, just and how they depict all the Malkir coming by, just showing up and Lan going, where are these people coming from? Right,
I know, right? And dude, I think probably this could be my favorite moment in the books is when the women of Emond's Field come to assist the men in the battle. It's one of the most powerful moments. And people try and say that, oh, you chuds, you don't like women fighting or anything like that. You think my favorite part in the book is when women actively fight, but it's portrayed so well because they know they're probably going to get slaughtered because they can't fight as well as men. And the book shows them basically getting destroyed, but they're still fighting, but they're getting wiped out. And they're willing to sacrifice their lives to try and help their men in the most desperate time. And they do ultimately fail. They need to be rescued at the end. And it's such a powerful moment. My favorite moment is when women join the battle, okay? Because it's done right.
Yeah.
And to hear how they bastardize that the show just enrages me. enrages me, man. I can't believe it.
Yeah, there's a point where you're not even sure if there's another man other than Perrin fighting.
I can't.
The men are out on the green and the women are all fighting. It's like, oh my god, come on, what are we doing? Which sucks because I don't like it. It's just you said it best. You said it best.
Chad is right. You know, there's a difference between Mary Sue girl bosses and women standing for their men for the lust. Exactly. You can have women have action moments. Absolutely. You need to do it just realistically, close to reality, because men and women have different natural roles, and you can have I love the kick-ass woman warrior type. It needs to be done right though.
Red Sonja, I think, is still popular today. I mean, it's because of male nerds. Male nerds has dragged her into relevancy today. Okay,
but Red Sonja, that's just a stereotypical personification of toxic masculinity and the male gaze and objectification of women and all that nonsense, right?
We want you to like kick-ass women. No, not like that.
Not like that. You have to love them the way we want, which is a pregnant woman in the throes of labor, killing well-trained men in the middle of a snowstorm.
Who has broad shoulders, no boobs, no hips. She's just a man.
They actually have that. I have a woman in middle of giving birth, right, kicking ass and killing men. And it's just like
that's probably not the time they're going to be fighting. They're probably not going to do that. That's kind of why they need men to protect them during childbirth, because they really can't do much.
The ultimate female empowerment thing, and
she's on cocaine.
Women who have actually given birth, when they see that, they think it's the most retarded crap they have ever seen.
How did you do this?
Oh god,
so divorced from reality, right? That
pumping out a human being is a lot of effort.
It is. The show unironically has retarded nonsense to that level, and the show thinks that honestly expects people to take it seriously after nonsense like that. Holy crap.
The warrior woman has been like a staple in every male nerd's fantasy for decades.
Ages. Men do not have a problem with a kick-ass action hero female character, not at all.
Prefer it most of the time.
Yeah, it's when it's the girl boss, preachy, denigrating men, killing men with ease without any training, anything like that. Mary Sue nonsense. That's what we can't stand. And this TV show is just packed full of that crap. Gingerman Prime drops $5 and just walks out like a Chad. Thank you, sir. Potato Radio for $5 says, keep in mind how much a failure these shows are. Andromeda, arguably a failed cult show, got over the 100 shows required for syndication in 5 seasons. Right? Yeah, like these shows are just like massive failures, and they won't be remembered. They will not be remembered. Ryan for $5 says, hail all, I've got a question for you. I've both read and listened to the audiobook of the first book, part 1, and then the part 2, $5. Part 2, at the end of both, I liked the world building, but hated listening to Rand's constant whining to the point I didn't continue. Is it worth going on? I mean, if you don't like Rand's whining, you're probably not going to enjoy. Like Rand has a lot of internal conflict that he deals with, and if you're not on board with that, you're probably going to struggle. The thing is, though, you could love everything else that could take you through. I love Perrin and Matt's arc so much. There's so much good stuff in there. Rand does get kind of dark.
He gets very dark. Yeah. There's a section people say call Rand Darth Rand because he goes so dark. So I don't know. I think the whining disappears for a portion. It never bothered me, but Rand's my boy. So
the great part is like I enjoy the conflict, the journey he has to go through. And his ultimate success when he overcomes those challenges and when he can kindly really unleash and he embraces his power, that's such a great payoff. And it's built up over many, many books. And so the journey Rand goes through, it has purpose to it. Real purpose to it. And that, that moment when it's like, and the blind man shall stand upon the Mount of Doom and he shall see again, stuff like that. And when that prophecy is fulfilled, it's like, it's brilliant. It's got such a great payoff.
It really does.
So it's worth it. I feel it's worth it for the quality of the book, but look, personal preference. And if that's the type of thing you don't like, you might struggle. Extreme for $9.99 says, what they did to Matt was so sad, dude.
Yes.
One of my favorite powers in any medium is luck powers. Hollywood's so far up their own ass, I wouldn't be surprised. A gender bent version of the story of Jesus Christ.
His whole luck aspect, the gambler.
It's so
he
good.
can't. Yeah, the whole. He's sort of like the whole woman being womanizer to the but charming. Good fighter. None of it.
Matt is top tier character of all time. Matt. People love him, and what they did to him, the fact that he's like one of the most pathetic and worst characters in this show when he should be one of the best, is an absolute abomination.
Truly is. I think that's pathetic and worst. I think that truly encapsulate what he is in the show. It's sad. Very sad.
It's unbelievable. Holy. Take a 610 for $2. Says food scissoring. It seems like that they want that. There's a lot of that in the show, or at least alluding to it. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Rodelight Geralda. Good to see you, sir. That's definitely a Wheel of Time fan. For $10 says, wait a minute. It's not Friday yet, and this is not Gary. What's going on? I'll watch this instead. If you leave the terrible comedian out, either way, my super chats belong here because F&T bear me. Oh, that's pity, but look, good to have you here. And I love the comedian on FNT. I love all the people on FNT. And I love being part of the group. Rodo Itarada for $2 in. By the way, hashtag
Balefire Raid. Absolutely. Elaine's used the Balefire rod, by the way. And Balefire's nobody of importance, but Yeah,
of course you know. Senior to Jessica for $2 says Emmonsfield battle scene autopsy when
I'll probably end up me and Nathan on my channel do it sometime. So
let Steve handle that.
Yeah. I got you covered.
It would hurt me. I would actually do it if there was interest in it, but no one gives a crap about the show. Unfortunately, for me at this time, the views that it would get would not offset the time and money I'd have to invest in actually making a proper battle scene autopsy. It just ends up not being worth it. And also, I wouldn't be kind of exposing anything that doesn't need to be exposed. Everyone knows the show is crap and no one's watching it. Job done. It's beating a dead horse at this point, and I'm perfectly happy to leave the horse be dead.
I'm good beating a dead horse until I move on to other horses. So which will be my goal, moving on to other horses to hopefully some good stuff too. I would love to talk about stuff we love too, but I don't know. There seems to be less and less of that.
And I am perfectly happy to let Steve finish off this dead corpse for me. I reckon you'll do a fine job, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So Aldan for $20 says, this is the stream we all deserve. Book cloaks, raise a glass, drink up, cancel the work, and woke, Beverly, and bloody take a victory lap. Our watch has ended for this show. Yes, indeed.
How come we can't be the guys for once going, you're not welcome in this community? We got hit with that for like 10 years. We can't be like, hey, all you fedora wearers and fedora tippers and wokies and art pros, you're not welcome in this community. Get out.
Yeah,
we can't do that.
Yeah, this does feel like a victory, and
it does actually.
For now,
again, for Team Hate.
Team Hate
over Wheel of Time TV show has ended, but there are other watches to remain true on. Rings of Power.
Too many, unfortunately, too many. But Rings of Power for sure.
Gosh, because we got holy crap, we have Ironheart coming out.
Ironheart, Rings of Power. Oh god, Daredevil just ended. Oh god, Daredevil.
The watch will continue, of course. So Lance Alato for $5 says, any thoughts on Captain America 1? It's my favorite. Hail to our vets. I love Captain America 1.
Captain America 1? Absolutely.
Friggin'
awesome.
Great.
Awesome movie.
It's like exactly what you want in a hero movie. Absolutely.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So good.
Technically Mexican for $20 says Rafe Judkins. 50% of people who have read all the books think the TV show is as good or better than the books.
Yes, this was So we roasted this quote so hard. Yeah, take Alan. Good to see you, buddy. I know Alan pretty well. We stream together sometimes. Yes, he said this with a straight fucking face. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. With a straight face. that 70%. And it's like this is what these quotes are why Rafe Judkins just lies.
Full of
He just lies.
This is the biggest bullcrap I've ever heard. This guy is so full of stuff. And guess what? I bet he believes it. I bet he believes his show is better than the books. He improved it because the books were problematic.
Absolutely.
He has that level of disdain for the source material that he made the better one. He is that up himself that he thinks is a better writer than Robert Jordan. And
Absolutely.
I think this quote shows that. Holy crap. And take the next thing because he's like, I interviewed 500 people at Dragonsteel to get a real statistic. The results are on a video on my channel, and I have a feeling I know which end those statistics are going to be falling. But you can check it out. It's
shocking, but it tips the way you think it does. But
I that. Powerfist $5 says, thanks for your work, Shad. Just brought book 1 of Wheel of Time. Thanks for your coverage.
Yes.
Salute to you, sir.
Awesome. You'll love it.
A fun read ahead of you. And Realm Never to Be Seen for $10 says, this wasn't even popular with the shipper weirdos. How do I know? I haven't seen a peep of Wheel of Time on Pinterest. Not even crappy ship art. No one likes this. 100%. Yeah.
If the shippers and the Rule 34 artists are making porn of it, you're doomed.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly right. No, you're exactly right.
Yep. And those are the people this show is pandering to. That's their target audience. And even they don't care. So of course
I think when a show does that, it's kind of like your mom discovering Twitter or something. It's not cool anymore.
Yep. Slasher for 10 Canadian says, started reading Wheel of Time 20 years ago. Only watched the first episode. Sounds like I made the right decision to not watch this thing. A pleasure to hear you gents talk with passion about books I also enjoy. 100% Slasher. 100%. Appreciate you. And I love these books, right? And to see the abomination that they did out of it, it's insulting. And I feel sorry for Robert Jordan, for having this thing. And maybe the silver lining is that he didn't have to live to see his work.
Maybe. I have no idea what Harriet's feeling right now.
And she's probably perhaps under NDAs or doesn't want to rock the boat with future personal deals and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't see if you truly loved Wheel of Time, genuinely love Wheel of Time, I have trouble understanding how you could like this show. I think there may be some people who are like that. It's a conversation I'd be interested to have to say, how could you be okay with this kind of thing? What they did with this character?
Well, it's so weird because I think so many of them are sort of like what was it? I think was it Discord said it or Literature Devil that there's people out there going, well, it's the only thing we're ever gonna get, so how we can't cancel it because it's all we got. So it's like,
right? Isn't that
come
sad?
on, that's so sad. Stop it.
Yeah.
No.
Don't accept the slop that these Hollywood is serving up, thinking that that's the only meal that you can get. It's like you deserve better than that. Don't be willing to eat absolute garbage, because to me that's like an abusive kind of relationship. It's like these people in Hollywood think that, oh, you like this franchise enough, which means we don't have to try. In fact, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to bastardize and make a mockery of this thing, and you'll eat it up anyway, right?
You as the audience deserve at least a certain level of respect. It's kind of like, don't just eat whatever you're given. You are investing your time, and in this case, your money, into watching the show. You deserve some respect, and it's up to them to give it to you. And when they deny you that respect, you do not owe them a thing. You should pass on that show.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Carmen Raider, writer for KFP, for $5 says, while the Wheel of Time show is utterly terrible, it is still better than the Willow show was. Disprove might disagree with that. He likes it for other reasons, which might, give you some extra evidence for what you're saying. That thing was mentally painful to sit through. Honestly, I actually agree. I'd say the Willow show was worse. I can't believe how bad that thing was. And that's why Disbury loves it so much, because of how bad it was. It was just like unspeakably retarded. Look, and guess what? We reviewed Willow. There's reviews on Night's Watch.
They pulled it too. That's crazy.
Yeah,
so
that one.
They pulled it. Yeah.
It's not even on the streaming side.
No,
Disney. It's that bad. Disney just memory hold it. And Taker 610 for $5 says everyone in Rings of Power is now the meme where the puppet dog does the side eyes. Shad channeling Kylo, seeing the heads roll at Amazon. More. Oh boy! Wow,
Yes.
what an epic stream! This has been cathartic and a celebration. I have loved it. And thank you guys for joining us. Disbrew, of course, thanks to him for joining us. He had to duck out. But as we sign off, Lit Dev, is there anything that you wanted to mention?
Yes, absolutely. I finally got a date for when my book is going to come out.
Oh,
it's going to be launched.
Oh,
Let's see
dude,
here.
dude.
1 second.
Nice.
I was looking for the tweet. Tweet. But the respective date will be June 6th. That'll be on a Friday, and that'll be kind of when it goes out. And here it is. I found the tweet. There we go. 1 second. Here it is.
Check
This is my
it out.
So there it is. Midnight Devils Dwell in Silent Springs. It's a supernatural murder mystery. But it's like kind of like, I guess you could say it's kind of like Constantine, but it's like I went the opposite direction. I went more like Death Note, where like Death Note explains how the magic works. So this one will be like it's gonna be magic and stuff, but I'm gonna explain it to you how it works so that you can follow it like a Columbo or a Sherlock Holmes story or a Hercule Poirot story.
Nice, man. That is exciting, dude.
It took me 8 months to do because that was really complicated.
Legend. I hope it goes well for you, mate, and we'll be here to support it. Awesome.
June 6th. Okay, cool. All right.
And hey, Steve, I hear that you might be having a live stream right after this one.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go take a little break, go get some water or something to recharge. But it was one of those. You messaged me. I was in the middle of starting one. I'm like, you know what, guys, I'll come back after. But I gotta get over this. This is gonna be too much fun. So yeah. So, but thank you, man. It's been an honor being on. So thank you.
Oh, dude, thank you. It's been great having you on, and the stuff that you're able to share about season 3 was just been absolutely brilliant that you're able to share that with. Also kind of brain breaking. So it's like, holy, I can't believe some of the stuff that you talked about, man. Holy crap. And Prophet of the Dragon over on Steve's channel, he's got deep dives and further stuff if you want to see just how much of a dumpster fire season 3 is. All there. Do go check him out. Thanks for coming on, dude. I appreciate it. I know it was really short notice.
Yeah. Anytime, man. You know, you need a third wheel, I'm here, man. For,
all right.
anything.
Hey,
so appreciate you.
I hold you to that.
Please do. It's been fun. You know, I'm always around. So if you need another voice, look me up.
Awesome. All righty, and this has been an epic stream, and it's kind of like the final chapter in an epic saga. Because like Nice Watcher, you know, we were there in the trenches at the beginning of this piece of crap, and even though I haven't been following or covering season 3 much, we can still cap off that coverage with this final kind of review or overview and discussion. And it was cathartic. It's like,
it feels good. Feels
laid
good.
at rest. And I had a great time. Thank you to everyone who joined us in the chat. You know, the fans showed up as well. Appreciate you all. But it's time now to say goodbye. And so, as always, everyone, stay on watch.